Alrighty. Let's get her going. Alrighty, welcome in, folks. Almost grabbed my controller on instinct. Welcome in. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. It is day 2 of patch 7.5. We've given the people a couple days to finish the MSQ on their own, and now I'm going to play it. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to get pretty much right into it because I think, why my monk? I think I was messing around with glamours at the end of last stream because of the dye changes. So I think I was going through some classes and being like, I don't have to fucking worry about getting the exact dyes I need. I could just put 3 things in my inventory and I have basically everything. Holy shit. And then I haven't played since then because I was a little worried I was gonna get spoiled playing the game. Like someone would say something in shout chat or something and I'd be like, ah, fuck. So I haven't played since then, but I wanted to. And now we're gonna. We're gonna get right into the story because I heard, I watched the Grinding Gear roundtable about FanFest, and they didn't get to Evercold Theories yet, unfortunately. Probably because they didn't, GG hasn't played 7.5, and they're not going to until like next month. Or like the end of the month, basically. But they did, I think Jesse, who plays his shit day 1, he doesn't wait. He, I believe, I think he said that it was around like 4.5 hours for him to get through as a streamer, and I was like, that's longer than usual, but it's also, it might just be like a big patch as far as story. So we'll get right into it. Silly streamer, avoid shout chat like you stop chat for us. Just put your face over it. Yeah, I'll just move shout chat to a different tab that I can't see. Viper. But yeah, as you can see, I was in here messing with glams. I don't think I made a ton of changes, but I'm just kind of still overwhelmed by everything I can do now. Yeah, I think this is all still mostly the same. I did change that. Made that brown. Oh, I did get a, I don't think you guys have seen my new Black Mage, glam. Which is, for fans of Yu-Gi-Oh! This is a Dark Magician type glam. And I got the weapon for him. Because I had tomestones left over. I'm quite happy with this glam. Anything else I made? Oh, I made that red, right? Like, the fact that I can just be like, I'm gonna make all of these red. And I don't have to worry about how much dye I have. So nice. I think I modified this one slightly. This is my new Gunbreaker glam. I don't know if you've seen this. Ignore the glasses. That's just because they're on this gear set. Using the Cosmic Exploration gear. That's, of course, this hasn't changed for quite a while. That was my new Warrior glam, which I like a lot. Finally got around to changing that. This is my new Scholar glam. I quite like. Oh, when I finally made a proper like white mage glam because of all the glam restriction changes that got removed. I can do that now. Yeah, anyways. We need more plates. So funny, I actually learned something about that recently. While I was watching the round table, they actually brought that up. Oh, right, I forgot that I changed my setting to that gray thing, and I haven't actually looked at it yet. The new gray theme they added. Oh, I kind of like that. I do kind of like that. I wish it was a little darker. But I don't hate it. I do need repairs, yeah. I had a pretty disastrous run in the Alliance raid yesterday, so I got kind of fucked up. I also heard that apparently... yeah, there's no, like, clear black, which is what I want. This is just a little too bright. I'll just go back to dark. Whoever uses light theme is a Psychopath. Clear white. Yeah, now I'll just go back to dark. I heard that apparently if you summon the aesthetician, you can change your theme without having to log out. Hey, man. But yeah, so about glamour plates, I learned that apparently the way glamour plates work is that they are basically hidden inventory. Oh yeah, there we go. Change back. So all the stuff that you have on your glamour plates, like all the gear pieces and all the dye, that is in an invisible inventory that the player cannot see that is always on their character. So the reason they can't add more glamour plates, or at least they haven't done it, you know, yet, is that every time a character loads into an area, all of that inventory is communicated to the server. So all that data goes to the server. So if they add more glamour plates, that's more shit that they need to convey to the server. And that's the problem, right? Is it slows the server down. The server can't handle that much info. So once again, spaghetti code remains the biggest problem with 14. I should give those back to my retainer. Hey, Waffle. Welcome in. I also moved a bunch of stuff out of my glamour dresser into my armoire. Now that I can do that for all the artifact gear. There you go. Alright, let's get to it. Yeah, I won't worry about repairs. What are the odds my shit's gonna break doing a dungeon in a trial? Guess your sub ran out today? Well. That'll happen. All right. Just saying is when we get more plates, we can get a bigger backpack, even though we have more than enough backpack slots. I mean, basically, right? Like, you basically have an invisible backpack with all of the stuff that you have in your glamour plates. So, like, everything that you can see... Oh, just because I'm looking at that. Like, all of this stuff on the side here, there's copies of that in an invisible inventory that you can't see. Right, outside of just your normal inventory. So all 20 glamour plates are technically gear that is being stored on your character. Oh yeah, I saw that you got the minion on the first run of the dungeon. Hell yeah. I've had that happen a couple times to me. I still haven't gotten the minions I want. But I did get a couple that I was like, oh, look at that. First try. Oh, and apparently I heard that the lines for Graha in 7.4 that sounded weird, apparently they re-recorded those, and Jonathan Bailey just sounds like himself again. Apparently it was still him. It was just super exhausted, because I think he recorded it after Wicked, because he's in that. So, his voice lines should be better. Alright, here we go. I trust you were able to get plenty of rest. Good. I thought we might take a moment to ponder our next steps, and perhaps reflect on our recent journey. I must admit my thoughts often drift to the Mist Continent and our stay in Trano. I think I called Trano Troya before. Wrong TR name. I get them mixed up. Wouldn't it be easier to just use what's in the dresser and reflect the data onto the character from the dresser instead of an inventory? Would that be more pasta? Well, that's what you would think would happen, right? You always have access to your glamour inventory from your character, and you just pull from that whenever you need it on the server. But the game is not built like that. Currently, the game just copies everything in your glamour plates and then just puts copies of it into a separate inventory that you can't see. So something like other glamour systems and other MMOs, totally different on the back end compared to 14, because this game is a technical disaster. Hopefully they'll fix it eventually. I mean, they've made a bunch of glamour changes already. So hopefully they'll get around to that maybe in like an 8.x patch. It was heartening to see the Malala prosper despite the odds, and my own flesh and blood strive in that leaven-racked landscape. It feels overtly obtuse? Yeah. Everything about 14 was them desperately trying to scramble to remake the entire game after the failure of the initial launch. After the nightmare that was 1.0. So this game, from a technical perspective, is like horrifying. Like, don't ever look at the code. You know, it'll be like pushing back the Ark of the Covenant, like taking the lid off, and their faces just melt in Indiana Jones. That's what looking at the code of 14 is like. Sveen was eager to restore diplomatic relations, and I have no doubt that Alexandria will provide much-needed support for their neighbor. I too shall do everything I can to aid my home away from home, my wonderful, welcoming family included. For the time being, though, I'd say we've accomplished all within our power. Held together with duct tape? Yeah, duct tape and bubblegum. I suppose that just leaves the matter of preservation's research. It is yet unclear how Calyx learned the techniques he used to summon his Dark Primal. There is likewise much that remains unknown about the key. Let us hope that Shale's efforts bear more fruit. Yeah, they ran out of duct tape halfway through development. That happens when you look at the code. The developers must be blind. That explains a lot, actually. Oh no, the developers are just built different. They're in a league of their own. The people who work on this, I do not envy them. They do a lot of very, very hard work. Oh, right. Let's do this. Can you hear me? Shell and I have reviewed the decrypted files and have uncovered some intriguing details. Would you care to join us? We'll be with you right away. Excellent. Shale seems rather eager to speak with you all. Come and find us in the Detero lab when you're ready. Uncanny timing indeed. It's almost like we waited 4 months for this. Let us make for the containment complex. Alright. Where the fuck am I going? Where's this? Yeah, I think this is where we finally figure out what the key does after waiting pretty much the entire patch cycle to learn about this. Every patch was like, alright, well, Ishtola is gonna keep working on it with Shale. Guess we'll see if we get any info next patch. And it's like, oh, nope, alright, gotta wait till next patch. It's been like 2 years of that. Yeah, has the key exploded yet? Like ripped into another dimension, or is that about to happen? I would love to get answers on its connection to the Azem crystal that we have. The fruit gummy. If we could get answers on that, that'd be fantastic. We'll see though.
Ah, you're just in time for a progress report.
Hi, Shale.
The decryption is finally complete. As we suspected, the data represents a partial record of Preservation's research documents. A quick scan of the files, however, failed to turn up the information Y'shtola was after.
So we still don't know anything. Great. God damn it.
Indeed. No mention of the Ascians, or primal summoning techniques for that matter. While Calyx doubtless received instruction from someone possessed of such knowledge, there was naught to identify this benevolent mentor. I am, however, pleased to say that we found several reports concerning the key.
Oh, goddamn time. Oh, you know exactly what I read, Waffle.
The key is used to open paths between worlds, and was a treasured relic of the Milala. And just as the Milala were unable to return after reaching the Mist Continent, so too was Preservation unable to gain a mastery of the prize which had passed into their possession. The data suggests that a particular formula or procedure is required. A process which Calyx appears to have understood to some degree.
Man, these cutscenes
Yet
have gotten
the
so
key
good.
proved
They
fickle.
do use a lot of depth of field, though.
Perfectly replicating conditions was no
Not that I'm
guarantee of
complaining, I
success.
actually do like the look of it.
And even when they did manage to generate a modest portal, the destination was never the one they expected. The reports practically screamed their frustration, describing the experience as being dragged around by a traveler picking roads without rhyme or reason. Serves them
Traveler?
right, I say.
Traveler, you say?
After much trial and error, Preservation began to experiment with external actuation devices for the key.
Hey, where
Striving
is
to
the
maintain a
thing
stable
anyways at the center?
pathway to a chosen location, they conceived of the technology that forms the gate to the Golden
The
City.
Zem? I feel like it's gotta be.
So, their tribulations ultimately afforded them control of the key, albeit in a limited capacity. Which, of course, explains why they were able to instruct Zoralja in its use.
Haven't thought about that guy in a
enabling
while.
the unprecedented feat of transferring Everkeep and its environs to the source. After the Endless Fiend took the key unto herself, she opened pathways to other reflections in her hunt for ether, did she not?
You sure did. That was a wild trial. Still one of my favorites.
The Milala merely used it to facilitate their exodus. To think what the key has now wrought in different hands.
For all we know, the actuation device augmented the key's power beyond its intended scope. Were your goal to plunder whole worlds of their ether, a tool designed to simply transfer people would likely be insufficient.
Shale, I don't suppose you would be able to remove the actuation device.
The machine made for that very purpose is still functional, thankfully. It shouldn't be a problem.
What do you think? We don't even know how the key works. If the device is somehow interfering or
Is
amplifying
removing
its capabilities,
This actuation
I
device
don't
gonna
know if
go
we
wrong?
want to remove it.
That how we're gonna move the plot forward? Oh, I still have this in my pocket. Oh, right, that was a copy of this that they had there.
Give me a moment.
Right. I forgot about that. I keep forgetting that we just have that in our back pocket. Like as big as my torso. Fuck is that? Stola? What do you see with your ether eyes?
My word.
Stola?
Ishtola?
Yeah, she has the ether
This
sight.
is the first time I've beheld the key in all its unobscured glory.
Technically blind.
The sheer density is extraordinary. 'Tis akin to the structures we saw beneath the Tempest.
Oh, of the recreation that Emmett Selk made? I think that's what she's referring to. That was like pure
Now that
ether.
you mention it, the ornamentation
tripping
is reminiscent of Amaranth.
There it is.
Have you noticed anything since the key has been in your possession?
We saw the symbol, right? Okay, there we go. Kind of wild that it's just coming up now. Let me read your question, Doppel. Defeating Zodiark sundered the world into 14 shards and sundered plenty of the Ascians. How did the accept the confiscation of 14? Hypanon, Heidelin not sunder themselves. I missed that info. So Vana was the one who did the sundering, so she did not sunder herself, right? It wasn't that, like, it was, like, affecting everything. It was her, she sundered the world and Zodiark and then was fine on the outside. She just remained in the source. Reminds me of a Zem's crystal. Because I believe the convocation of 14 avoided getting sundered by staying in between, like in, like the dimensional gateway.
The key has some connection.
Dimensional in between, basically.
A plausible theory, although one we are yet unequipped to prove.
I'll have to know.
My apologies.
You gotta silence your phone, Kryl. What the fuck? Now we gotta do the whole scene again.
Hello? Yes, this is Cryo speaking.
My car insurance? What do you mean? An extended warranty?
That was Ojika with a message for us.
I have no idea who that is.
An urgent matter?
I'm not altogether sure. Tataru requires our counsel, and hoped to call upon us in person at the Baldessian Annex. Though disappointed we were not present, she appeared content to wait until our travels brought us back to Sharlayan, insisting that it did not merit
Girl they left
our
in charge at
immediate
Sharlayan.
summons.
Okay.
Her tone suggested otherwise, however.
Oh, I think I might remember
Ojika
now.
felt compelled to contact us directly.
Aren't they like the Lala who's basically sitting outside like the indoor?
Mayhap the time has come for another
That
journey
Ojika?
across the salt.
You'd best go. Though I'll not deny that I'll be
Oh,
sad to
come
see
on,
you
Shale.
leave.
Just be a Scion. At the front desk. Yeah, okay, I remember now. It's been years.
Oh, Shale. I can't even begin to thank you for all you've done. We will be forever indebted to you and your Oblivion colleagues.
The debt is ours. We'll never forget the
Again, we're
sacrifices
really
you've made for us.
Putting a lot of
For our
emphasis
Dawntrail.
on, hey, we made a shit ton of allies
In the
here.
meantime, I shall keep sifting through the data.
We can call on them whenever we
Here
need.
As soon as I find anything of note.
Maybe the last time you talked to her was to start Dawntrail? Yeah.
Actually, I should like to stay here a little longer, if you don't mind.
You are most welcome.
Fucking Ishtola just will not stop with this key.
And might I borrow the key for a while? I wish to study it further.
Oh,
With the
she's gonna
utmost
fuck
care,
something
I
up.
assure you.
Well then, shall we be off? Ojika will be expecting us.
Rail to the heavens. I think it was mentioned the Unsundered found a hole in the Sundering and hid there, with theories saying Heidelin made it on purpose because we told her about the Unsundered. Yeah, it was something like that. They basically just slightly removed themselves from space so they could avoid the Sundering. Alright. Back to Sharlayan. We're gonna get back to this place and Shale's gonna be fucking dead. Just the key exploded and fucking killed Shale just to prove a point. Yeah, Ojika. Welcome back, and what a pleasure it is to see you too, Lance. I have no idea if you had a voice. Thank you for contacting us, Ojika. We came as soon as we could. Of course, it felt prudent given how troubled Tataru was. Your concern is much appreciated. As it so happens, we'd reached a convenient juncture in an investigation. Shale and Ishtola have matters well in hand, leaving us free to make this trip. That's a relief to hear. Now let me fetch Tataru for you. Why don't you take a moment to relax in the main hall? I'm sure you're all still fatigued from your journey. That's how you know we're back in Charlene and Endwalker territory, because we're being told to rest. There were many mandatory naps in Endwalker for some reason.
Planning your next journey?
Oh no, just reminiscing. Thinking back to when you bought this map, and how you all encouraged me to make the voyage to Tural.
Are you glad you did?
As if you need ask. Welcome back.
There she is. What kind of financial crimes have you gotten up to? Wonderful to see you again, Tataru.
I'm so glad you're here.
Ojika contacted us. He intimated that you were rather concerned. Come to think of it, Alphino said he and Alize would pay you a visit upon their return. Have you not seen them?
Oh no, they were here. I was regaled with many a tale of your Turali adventures. It was only once they departed for Garlemord that the rumors came to my attention.
Really funny seeing a cutscene with 3 Lalafels.
Rather alarmingly, void-sent sightings seem to be on the rise across the star. I was reluctant to bother you with mere hearsay.
Talk to Zero about that.
Especially when you had more pressing matters to contend with. But earlier I received a confidential report from the Grand Company of Eorzea. It's as if a mighty dam has been breached, flooding the land with foul creatures.
Zero?
Blessing.
What's going on?
Have managed to keep the invaders in check, and casualties appear to be minimal thus far. Though the same cannot be said for those regions with a deeper connection to the void. Their fissures continue to manifest without end, putting countless innocents in danger.
A deeper connection to the void. Garlemald is the home of the Reapers, is it not?
I have that class leveled.
Alphino and Alize were there when the trouble began, and have since sent word that the situation has taken a dreadful turn.
A short while earlier in Tertium.
Thus concludes the abridged account of our time in Tural. Now I shall leave you with the words of the late Dawn servant, Galul Jajar. Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship. A notion that rings true for Eorzeans no less than it does for the diverse peoples of Tuliolal.
F in chat for Galul
And for
Jaja.
Garleans as well. Even sharing something as simple as a local dish can pave avenues of understanding. It's up to all of us to forge new bonds together.
Thank you for sharing your tale.
Crazy that it took 2 years for you to tell it, though.
Better they hear it firsthand than endure my clumsy retelling. Your words give me hope that we might achieve something similar here in Garlemald.
We all have the capacity to affect change. Our time in Tural taught us that much. And now that we've returned, it's time we rolled up our sleeves and got back to work.
I've already sent missives to the other nations, informing them of our Alexandrian friends. I also intend to notify the Garlean community officially. If both sides are amenable to the proposition, we shall gladly assist in establishing diplomatic relations with Alexandria and Tuliolal.
Start spreading that Alexandrian tech around.
But are you sure you've recovered from your journey? It sounded like you've hardly had time to catch your breath.
Oh, they've had months.
Sir! Lapis Manalis is overrun with void scent. We've sustained heavy civilian casualties.
Man, the Garleans cannot catch a fucking break. This really is just fantasy Russia.
Reporting in. We're under attack. Void scent appeared out of nowhere and ambushed us during a routine inspection. Damn it. Is that another fisher? No, no, no! Ah!
My comrades are under attack. We have to do something.
There's no time to lose! Come on!
Good. Fade to black right before they head up the ramp and their walk animation freaks out.
Themselves against such a threat. Even with the aid of the twins and the Ilzabard contingent, they face daunting odds.
Yeah, alright. You're playing my song. I know this dance.
We shall leave for Garlemald immediately.
Thank you. I was able to contact Thancred and Urionje too. They're already on their way.
Oh, nice.
With any luck, you'll be able to rendezvous with them on arrival.
Can he get his Stinian back? The fuck has he been up to this whole time? Just cut to him, just lounging on the beach with a cowboy hat.
I've been told Erfano and Alize have withdrawn to Tertium to request aid on the front lines. They seem intent on rejoining the battle once reinforcements are ready, but I shall tell them to wait until you arrive.
Money? Two worlds entwined. Alright. And just like that, we find ourselves faced with another emergency. Fortunately, there is yet time for us to make a difference. Let us make haste for Tertium. I assume this is going to set up a link back to Zero and Golbez, right? It would be weird if we started running into problems with Voidsend and they just weren't involved. Like, that's literally their whole thing. Also, hey, you two. Ah, Lance, you've made it in time.
You picked a frosty spot for a reunion.
Another voice cutscene.
Tataru sent word that you were coming. Full glad am I to see you all. Though I'm afraid this is no time for pleasantries. Planar fissures have opened up across Garlemald, inundating the region with void scent. As far as we can ascertain, there are 2 focal points of their assault. The Ilzabard contingent are combating the threat in Lapis Manalis. Although they have suffered casualties, they appear to have the upper hand.
As well they should. The many talented Uldan thaumaturges among them should be more than capable of closing any fissures they encounter.
Which leaves the second focal point, the Clutium. Eulus
Clutium.
and the Guardian community are attempting to mount a counterattack,
Not the Clitium.
but are struggling to cope with the sheer number of void scent. They've fallen back to the north of the Imperial Palace. Can you lend your aid in securing the area?
With your blessing, I would tend to the wounded returning from battle.
Of course, Kryl. Thank you. The quickest route from here to the front is via the train tracks. Once we arrive, we can support the Garlean forces as we make for the fissure in the munitions factory.
We're getting right into the dungeon? Seems like it. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. Hell yeah. Time for some action. Alright. Let's see. Who are we going to take with us? We haven't had
Our fates are not yet
Urianger and Thancred in a long time, so we got to get them in. And I guess that just leaves Alize, which I will never complain about. Oh, I could bring Graha. You okay, Mogami? It's fine. That's a tough choice. We'll go with Alize.
Let's give it our all.
Yeah, my durability's low. I'll be fine. I just won't die. Ooh. Toho, is that you again? Ooh, hell yeah. Oh, this is a remix of the one Garlean dungeon. Oh shit, what's it called? I think. Yeah. The one where you're on like the train to start. It's that again. But like a piano remix. I'm into that. Hell yeah. Cool. Why this guy's waiting over here? Yeah, Tower of Babel, that's it.
my turn.
It's a really cinematic dungeon. There's shit happening everywhere. Like buildings falling in the background and stuff. Like that dungeon is like my first moving set piece dungeon. Yeah, that was a really cool dungeon.
Make ready.
Like the Amrot dungeon? Yeah, Amrot dungeon also very good. I don't know what my favorite dungeon is. I know what my favorite dungeon theme is, because that's Origenics and Dawntrail. That song fucking slaps. There's so many good dungeons. I did like the Hero's Gauntlet, actually, in Shadowbringers. That was a really, really cool dungeon. Getting, like, a full tour of all the places you went to in Shadowbringers. That dungeon was really rad. Through here. This is nice too, because you never really get to run around in the streets of Garlemald all that much in Endwalker. Like you do, but besides from that like one mission, that like stealth mission you have to do, it's not really a part of Endwalker. So it's nice to get more of that. Cutscenes count towards liking the dungeon or not? Just the pathways and enemies. I think cutscenes, yeah. Like overall, cutscenes, music. You know, as much as I like Origenics, I think the dungeon itself isn't that good. Not that it's bad. Whatever you think is coolest. I think mine might be the Hero's Gauntlet. Kind of excited to get a more wintry themed expansion, in theory. I always love winter themed stuff. Now I have to think of all of them, thanks. Yeah, I started doing the same thing. I was like, I should concentrate on this. Oh, the dungeon where you fight Hrisvelgr. What is that? Sohm All? Something like that. That one's also a good one.
Together we shall overcome this. Overcome this.
Appreciate the help. We'll handle things from here. Take care of the Fisher.
Thank you, Euless. Euless, whatever your name is. I do like this dungeon's aesthetic a lot. First, and I think only instance where dead enemies became hazards. I don't remember that, actually. What the hell is that? Eye of the Scorpion, huh? That's an interesting look. Oh, it's a, it's like the thing from 7, but it's got something like infesting it. It's got like a Ahriman stuck in its face. That's cool. See, your world is forfeits. They're invading. Eyes on me. Okay, that's the raid wide. Okay, so you have to figure out which way he's gonna look. We're gonna go the other way. Okay. Another raid wide. Motion scanner. Oh, is this a staying still mechanic? If I attack, does it trigger? Oh, I see. Oh yeah, everyone is just sitting here. We just have to sit here. Oh, my auto attack triggered it. Oh, I actually have to, like, fully put my weapon away. That's actually kind of cool. You literally just have to stand there. Fan enemies that when you died spawned a column of air that launched you up. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're gonna go that way. Motion scanner again. Okay, so there's that. So is something gonna happen that's gonna... Oh, yep, okay. Stand right here. That's cool. That's a fun mechanic. It's not a hard mechanic. You literally just sit there and do nothing, but it's a neat idea. Let's stand there and do something, do nothing while some classes might have something on a timer, yeah. Like you gotta plan it properly. But it's unique, I do like that. And actually having to worry about your auto attack is interesting. Okay. Does this have a set tied to it? Oh, well, I didn't get one there. But yeah, like if I like had my Reawaken active and I just had to sit there and watch the timer go down. Ooh. Cerulean fires. Yeah, there are bosses where you can't move. There's like acceleration bomb. That's a mechanic where if you trigger any like actions while under the timer, you'll explode. There's ones where you have to keep moving, like the freeze mechanics. But I think that's the first time you've literally just had to sit there and do absolutely nothing, including auto attack, while you wait for something to pass by. Okay, so it drops accessories at least. Hey, these guys. Fucking what's his nuts from Void Ark. The one that goes hoo 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 ha 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 ha. Yeah, kind of like that. I do really like the aesthetics of this dungeon. The only other dungeon that has kind of a wintry aesthetic is the Burn, but it's not quite the same. Oh, and I guess there's like there's Isle of Ham, and also the first part of Caduceus Hyperborea. Still. Also, I think these are FF13 enemies, which concerns me. I think this one, this spider might be. Is it actually? I might be wrong on that, actually, now that I think about it. I know they're in Dawntrail because they showed up in the Alexandrian dungeon. Belsar's Wall's second boss had a motion sensor. Oh, I kind of remember that now, yeah. It's been a long time since I did that dungeon. A very long time. I think that's a debuff though, right? It's like something that gets applied to you. I think this is the first time it's been tied to an AoE. As it like passes over you. I mean, it still applies a debuff like to you. You can see it pop up while the AoE is over top of you. So it's like basically still the same, just looks different. But I like it. Spider boss. Whee! Oh no, what the hell is that? Short? Look at him. He's just a guy. That's just like a Midwestern dad at a cookout. Look, he's even got barbecue sauce on his face. I've met guys like these. Alright, anyways. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. Oh, okay, I see. That's very silly. Oh. God, it said short. Basic vomit. Oh, great. That's what I call, pumpkin spice. Basic vomit. I like how this guy's power is that he's just fat and he rolls around. What a guy. Oh, he's gonna do another one. All right. That's so silly. Please? There we go. Bodyweight Exorcism is that move. I just realized that was the name. Body weight exorcism is what happens when you eat too much barbecue. That's how he got like this. Well, you'll exercise some demons. There we go. That's a great boss. That's fun. Okay, they do have a gear set for this. Prey Magitech. Okay, hard to tell what it's going to look like based on some shoes. Scrap Biblos. Scrap Gargoyle. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh archetype. I think. Or is it junk? No, I think it's junk. Or maybe it's also scrap. I don't know. Ooh. That's fun. Like a big factory floor. That kind of reminds me of Nier a little bit. The Nier raids. Yeah, I think a cerulean processing plant is a pretty good guess. That's, there's certainly a lot of ceruleum out around and on fire. So it had to come from somewhere. I mean, they use ceruleum and everything here, but still. Look at us go! Oh! Oh yeah, this must be where they make the Garlean airships. Oh, there are rifts fucking everywhere. Oh, that's cool. They're like held up with energy ropes. That's a neat idea. That looks really cool in the distance. Look like the hollows. So, you know, I just did the Shadowring's Magic DPS story. The hollows. I don't remember those. What are the hollows again? When you say hollows, I think of the things from Bleach. Which there are some enemies that look like that. Say what you want about Bleach, it always had very good style. Alright, what is the boss here? For free? Ooh. Got the dogs out. Albert summons the portal things, looking to rescue his friend that got sucked into the void, and his Sin-Eater keeps from... Oh, right, yes. Keeps trying to rescue his childhood friend. Right. Actually, that was the whole story I did. Because I was still playing Summoner at the time. Oh no, that's wrong. I was physical DPS. Because I did Reaper for Shadowbringers. But I have done that one. I do remember that. Spider-Man. Alright, let's do it.
Welcome to my domain, mortal.
Gotta turn down the mix on that voice changer, it's a bit much. Still gotta be understandable. Oh, he's the one that does the energy ropes. That's his shtick. Oh, alright, just get a frontal cleave, sure. Yep. Oh.
Carry out my will.
Why does he look like a Warframe? He kinda does. Oh shit.
Now for something different.
Oh. Okay, that's neat. What fucking move are you doing, Oriange? You're the healer. Okay, so does this explode? Oh, it's everything at once, okay. Got it. And then a frontal cleave. Idle Ka, kinda, yeah. Oh. Oh, I did it correct, right? I have no idea what I just did. I guess that symbol was for move around. The little play button. That's right, I think that's what that was. Over here. Oh, they're moving. Oh, that's mean. That's mean. Oh boy. Open frontal cleave. Yeah, it means you gotta keep moving that play symbol. I think they made an effort to standardize that around Dawntrail, because before you just had to look at the debuff and know which one it was. Frontal cleave again. Because I feel like some things had it where that was the universal move symbol, but not always. I think they I think with Dawntrail they started to standardize a lot of their iconography. Of course. Alize takes the LB as usual. Okay, we're just not holding paramedic. Puppet pair. Oh, okay, this one. Oh, fuck. On a cleave. Got him. Nice and easy. Nothing too crazy for that dungeon. Pretty straightforward. Doing a trust through Holminster switch and was playing Summoner. Apparently Urianger doesn't know how to dodge and keeps dying. Yeah, that can happen on the trusts. It's kind of weird. Like, the duty support, they're pretty good at it, but the trusts, for whatever reason, like, don't have the same, like, AI or something. Oh, I got the Orchestrion. Oh, that's rad. Hell yeah. I really like that song, so that works for me. All right. Right. Can't kill Void Scent unless you use Memoria.
I think that's all of them.
We need but seal the fissure to prevent further ingress.
But why are they here?
It's over. I can only imagine the extent of the damage were it not for your aid. On behalf of the Garlean community, I thank you for all you've done for my people, for my home.
Don't count your chickens just yet, buddy.
I shall close the fissure post-haste.
Wait! If you do that, I will be trapped here.
You risked your life in vanquishing the creature. Would you at least let me bear the burden of deciding its fate?
Sure, if you want. I'm a stone cold killer. I mean, it doesn't bother me none. But go nuts.
You want to go back? To the void? Your kind have entered this realm before. Some seeking death that they might rejoin the life stream. But you would choose that dark, deathless place?
The wind is fresh and pure, untouched by darkness. Perhaps it won't be a blessing to meet my end in such a place. get burned apart with the void. If only the winds would blow there, as they do here.
We're working on it.
I long to return, to see my home unsullied, as it once was.
We know that pain all too well. If that is your wish, you must forsake this aggression. Go back to the Void and devote yourself to its restoration.
Hey, Morganite. Or 14 tomfoolery, you know it.
I have a friend, Zero, who hails from your home. She and her companions strive to bring light into the Void from another world blighted with imbalance. I hear their efforts have already met with some success. One day, they'll drive the darkness from the Void, I'm sure of it.
His form is imbued with the will of all those I have consumed. We shall return to our world and seek out this Zero. Then we shall see if there is truth in your words.
Look forward to seeing you later, whenever we see Zero.
Won't disappoint you. That much I guarantee.
His feet are huge. Yeah, he's got the dogs out. All concrete slappers.
Bravo! I think Zero will approve.
Oh,
Indeed, that was truly heartening to see.
The graphics look better quality. They've been gradually improving the graphics ever since 7.0.
Understanding begets fellowship.
That was one of their big, selling points for Dawntrail. Was the graphics overhaul.
Well then, shall we head back?
And in 2 years, they're going to be dumping the PS4, so they'll be able to put even more stress on the system. Because they're going to drop the old gen. Which they were very excited about. Like, we don't have to worry about this running on PS4 anymore. Upgrade, goddammit. Alright. That's a pretty fun dungeon. Nothing too super crazy. Reports have begun trickling in. By all accounts, the Isabard contingent was successful in containing the threat on their front. Were Voids sent to attack in such numbers just as we were finding our feet? I daren't imagine the consequences had you not provided such timely aid. On behalf of my comrades, I thank you. Thank you all. Sure. I hope they don't dump PS5 too soon. No. It took them this long to get rid of PS4. They're not dumping PS5 anytime soon.
The Ilsabard contingent
More
have
voiced
contained the
cutscenes.
threat on their front. Things appear to be under control for the time being. Though it remains unclear why the fissures opened up in the first place. According to Tataru, similar ruptures are occurring across the star.
One thing is clear, however. The phenomenon is not without pattern. The tendency for fissures to emerge is pronounced in regions deeply connected to the Void. Places where the barrier between the two worlds is at its thinnest.
I I fear there may be a place in far greater peril than Garlemald.
Where?
Though it hath since been sealed, you will recall there is a great void gate that we ourselves had cause to open. A gate which was instrumental in our bid to reunite Fritra with his sister and put an end to Golbez's...
Yeah, we gotta go to the moon right now. That's a great point, Urianger. I forgot about that.
The moon.
Yeah, nope, we gotta get there right now.
With our attention fixed upon planar fissures, I failed to consider this vulnerability.
Yeah, okay, well, Urianger, there's no one on the moon besides the Loporrit and the Watchers. Or the Loporrits and the Watcher. So, you know, this was kind of more important.
And that rift might be yawning open as we speak. We'd better hurry.
Let us make for Bestway's Burrow. I dare say the Loporrits are well aware of current events.
We get there and all the Loporrits have just been slaughtered.
We ought to have Kryl join us once she finishes tending to the wounded. I shall likewise contact Y'shtola. Her knowledge of the moon's void gate is second to none.
A number of my fellow Garleans now call Mare Lamentorum home. Alphino, Alize, please see they come to no harm.
They do?
We'll be back before you know it.
There are Garleans on the moon? Really?
A quick word, if you will.
What's up, man?
I'm not sure whether you'll run into Zero during the course of all this, but if you do, would you give this to her?
Sure. A to-go bag?
Emergency rations, in case of a protracted battle.
Okay, that is funny.
She's eating all that well in the void.
Got her a Happy Meal.
She likes dumplings.
I'm rooting for you, buddy. Stuff that in the back pocket. Despite the fact that it's about as big as my torso. Nope. Oh, we go right there. Teleporting. Oh. Love it. I love the Loporrits.
Given thy panicked state, I presume the Loporrits too are beset with void scent.
Oh, what sweet relief it is to see you all.
I imagine Loporrits are kind of hard to kill considering Hydaelyn made them.
Pouring forth from the crater.
I don't even know if they age. They might be immortal. They were just sitting in stasis for a while.
Hope to find my worries unfounded.
For some unknown reason, the void gate seems to have partially opened. Living Ray dashed off to activate the brands and halt the Fiend's invasion. But she hasn't come back, and we've since lost contact.
I suggest we make for the brands without delay.
These are also really high quality cutscenes, like a lot of animation work put into them. Once again, they're putting a lot of effort into their cutscenes now. They've come a long way. All right. I'll save you.
I valiant sailor, I was so frightened I dare not move an ill. Someone else fighting in the background. Oh, you're looking for Livingway. I think I saw her heading southwest towards the Drowning Brand. He had several slaughterbots in tow, but I worry they won't be enough for all the Void sent. You better hurry. Good luck. Getting green chocobo. What barding is that, I wonder? That's, Barbarossa? Or Barbaricia? Oh, yeah, you can see. That's a problem. Welcome back from dinner. You missed a very cute cutscenes of the Loporits running around. Yeah, that's the pit that Zodiark was in. We opened that up to get to the first, or not the first, the 13th.
I'm saved! I dread to think what would have befallen me if you hadn't intervened. Oh, I was never in any real danger, of course. I knew you would realize our plight and rush to our rescue. Aetherius is likewise plagued with void scent. If only we'd prioritize further development of the void.
Why isn't Livingway in cosmic exploration? Livingway is busy with the moon.
Oh, what
Clearly still things happening.
Demonstration that would have been irrefutable proof that I was mankind's staunchest ally and the greatest Loporit to ever live. I can practically taste the praise.
All right, reel it in, buddy.
Fortunately, I was able to activate the brands. Should any more void scent emerge from the gate, they ought to be confined to the crater. Unless, of course, the void gate begins to expand of its own accord, or some gargantuan monstrosity tries to barge through. I don't foresee any major problems.
You just had to say something, huh? When's Zero coming over? I feel like we are building up to seeing Zero again.
Nope. We're doomed.
That's funny.
There you are.
Hey, there she is.
I left the data in Shale's capable hands and teleported here as soon as I heard.
You can teleport. Okay.
And ere you asked,
So why are we taking
I
boats all the
made sure to bring
goddamn
key
time?
with me.
I mean, I guess they would have to be able to teleport to be able to catch up with me. Still weird that sometimes they're like, yeah, we're going to take a boat back. And it's like, why?
A real threat yet awaits us.
'Tis Gorbez's domain beyond the Void Gate.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Zero again.
I wonder how he and Zero are faring.
I still think she looked better as a Reaper, but, you know. They wanted to make the FF4 reference. Which, fine. Oh. Oh, you brought it with you.
By the 12.
Why would you do something like that? That seems tremendously irresponsible. But it's going to move the plot forward, so oh well. Are we summoning Zero? Behold the gift of Ethos. Azem? Yours is a journey without end, conceived and guided by principle.
Hold fast to what you must and meet your fate without fear. My fate? Where's the warrior of light gonna die at the end of this saga? Go forth, discover, unite the stars unto one. Oh. Let none bar your path. Yeah, this is the voice they use for the ancients, but this could be a Zem. You don't know what they sound like. How very Kingdom Hearts of you. What the fuck is going on? Oh, was that Golbez and Zero? Do I just have like a teleporting plot MacGuffin? It's that goddamn walk cycle. It just takes me to wherever I need to go as a hero. Huh. Yeah, we're on the 13th now. Hey, buddy. And it left a thing behind. Hey, there she is. Hey, and there he is.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I think I have a bat signal now. Kinda. Well, not really. I have a boom tube. A visit felt long overdue. Good to see you again.
Only you could be so carefree amidst all this.
This is just a regular Tuesday for me.
May as well make yourself useful.
Last time I saw you, I was a different
The
class.
gate's sheer size appears to have made it a tempting target.
Yeah, well, it's Tuesday in game. It's Friday in real life. Oh, there he is.
Enuo, a dread void scent risen from the benighted depths of the ocean.
Yeah, I got spoiled on this.
They kept to the confines of their domain while Zeromus endured. No longer, it would seem. And once they had discovered a path to the Red Moon, they wasted no time in making the journey.
Leave the void scent nearby to us. You take care of Enuo. Facing this many foes calls for a more familiar approach.
Are you about to job change back to Reaper? Wow, they really were just like, yeah, you were better as a Reaper. Even they acknowledge, like, nah, she was way cooler.
Change their form at will. Both light and darkness are mine to wield.
That honestly that does make sense and is rad.
Besides, what better to purge darkness from the void than darkness itself.
Could you imagine if that's like a hint for one of the new jobs that you're going to be able to basically get like a light and dark form in one job? Just swap back and forth between the two. I don't think that's what that's implying, but a job like that would be cool. All right.
Who dares face me? A mere mortal.
Yep, trial time already, I think.
Search of power, renown. I fight to end this world without end. All who stand before
This is FF5? X-Death theme? But like a bit crushed version? Well, like a 8-bit version? Hell yeah. I think this is like the third version of the song in 14. The Unmaking. Yeah, nothing near about me, buddy. Whoa, this arena's rad. Yeah, I want to say, because this I believe this track is in the Stormblood raids, because X-Death is in it. So I think this is a, well, clearly it's a remix of that theme. This is specifically the Neo X-Death theme, which is only in Savage, I think. So I think this is actually the only the second version of this. How long has it been since we've seen the Azem Crystal Summon? I mean, I believe we used it during Doomtrain, which was the last trial. There was a period in Dawntrail where, like, until the last trial, we didn't use it at all. But we used it against Queen Eternal. We used it against... We didn't use it against Necron because we had the Scions there. I think we used it against Zelenia. So, yeah, near the end of Dawntrail, we actually started using it pretty regularly. It was just during Dawntrail we very rarely used it. All right, let's do it. How low could my durability be? Pretty low. Well, just don't die. Come on, baby. I'm still banking everything on Evercold as the FF5 themed expansion. I'm putting all my chips in on it. Yeah, just don't get hit. There's a very real chance my accessories break during this fight. I should have gone back and fixed it. I thought about it right as that message popped up, but the queue popped too quickly. Hello, folks. Alright, here we go. Yeah, you told me at the beginning of the stream, and then I ignored you, and then I was like, maybe I should do it, and then the queue popped. Well, I have no one to blame but myself. Not gross. What the fuck? Oh, I see, okay. That makes sense.
The Void's power is mine to wield.
Not waits. Okay, so that moved.
Perish.
So he's gonna move that portal around a bunch and fuck with you. Okay. I assume he's gonna make more portals. Keys of the Void. Oh. Is that gonna be... Got it. Oh shit! Alright, yep, I got caught by that. Oh, it doesn't give you a vault stack though. Okay. Okay.
Accept your downfall.
What the fuck is that? Oh, I see, it's a chase. Chase AoE. Not hunts another. What the fuck? Oh. Oh, it like changes targets. The person it was linked with died though, so I didn't see it. Meltdown. Hey, that's a classic spell. Well, not super classic, but in other games. Really good spell in FF8. One of your best spells to junction and defense, I think. Or maybe status, status resistance, I can't remember. I just remember it being very good. Silver triangles are real markers? Yeah. This is very unique. Weird that he's over here, but that was directionally in the center of the arena.
Neither past nor future.
Whoa. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this is really sick. It's like the place where you fight Neo X Death in 5. I wonder how far away you can walk. Must be like an invisible wall somewhere.
I've breathed the darkness, let the light guide me.
Oh, that's super cool. Oh, you run faster on the path. That's fun. Oh yeah, it does remind me of Kingdom Hearts, yeah. That's a fucking sick like bridge section. That is super cool.
The underlings are no more. Now to deal with NOO.
Life and death rendered meaningless.
Okay. Also, Zero changed back to Paladin.
Protect us.
I guess they just really wanted to show that she could do that. Hey, Passage of Arms!
I will not yield my domain!
Yeah, he is heartless.
Such is the power of the Void.
Cool. I want another arena change. This guy's super cinematic for being some fucking jobber out of nowhere. He literally just shows up. Oh shit. That's different. Did I avoid that? Oh my god, I did. Almagast, I remember this.
My power is absolute.
The vacuums grow in number. I see. Okay.
The Void's power is mine to wield.
Okay, I understand that now.
Oh, that's larger than I thought. Oh. That was almost a disaster. That's a multi-laser.
Behold the truth of this world! Accept your downfall.
Oh, so there's this again, okay. And then it's gonna switch to other people. Oh, ran right off.
Doth the yawning wolf not tempt you?
This again.
Be still.
Oh, I just realized what was happening. Oh, God. I remembered the second half of that. Oh. Ow. Summoner ever get a dash or gap closer? Yes. With Ifrit. Ifrit adds a gap closer as part of its thing. We're gonna go this way. I do like this trial. Okay, I think I see where to go.
Be still.
Oh, is Golbez using cover on Zero's passage? I don't think so. I think he's supposed to be like a Dark Knight. Oh! Ow! Fuck, that almost killed me. I'm not sure. I think he was just using, like, random NPC narrative power. I am not using that LB3. I'm leaving that for the healers. We did this trial pretty well, but I'm not risking it. It kind of looked like cover, yeah. Could be.
The void's power is mine to wield.
Nice. Yeah, that one's very cinematic. I don't think it's all that tough. Some neat neat mechanics. The AoEs that follow you and then change targets, that's really neat. Yeah, meteor finish. Black Mage got him. They were probably waiting for me to use it because that was the only melee DPS, but I was not risking it. GG. I'll give it to the Paladin. I saw them use Passage of Arms at a good time, and I always love it when they do that. Or the best parts being Paladin. I didn't even die. I didn't even take a Vuln stack. I almost died. Didn't even have to worry about the quality or the durability of my gear. See, yeah, I told you I'd be fine. Oh, right.
I'm glad you came. We would have struggled to face Enuo alone.
Yeah, it's crazy that that guy is just a random enemy.
You journeyed here to prevent more void scent.
You literally show up and kill him, and that's it.
How exactly does passage work? Passage works, it basically makes a cone behind the paladin, and everybody in the cone gets damage resistance.
In this realm who pose a serious threat. I dare say the problem is resolved.
Like, you can't actually negate it, it's just mitigation. Yeah, they don't need to know about that. Have you noticed anything weird? Anything weird going on? Just out of curiosity? Notice anything?
Nothing comes to mind. Why'd you ask?
Alright, well.
So the breach wasn't limited to the Void Gate. For better or worse, precious little has changed in the 13th since the Romus fell. Have you noticed anything unusual?
I know not the reason events have unfolded this way, but there is, perhaps, an explanation as to why the Void Gate and the fissures opened.
Care to share with the class?
Here, in my domain, even the slightest change is keenly felt. When the gate opened, I sensed not the workings of some external force. Rather, it felt as if the barrier between our worlds was weakening naturally, moment by moment, until the two came to meet.
Yeah, this guy is not actually Golbez. The actual Golbez died, but he's still using his name to basically carry on his legacy.
'Tis a possibility.
What of Radzit Han and Garlemald?
Well, I haven't checked Radzit Han, but Garlemald's seen better days. Yes, the real one became a Void Sent and was sealed away in a Memoria. That's whose memories we were looking through.
Whether Void Sent or Garlean, we all share the same longing for home. Should we meet, I will gladly offer them aid. Please tell Euless as much. Wait, how exactly did you get here? No mortal could traverse the Void Gate in its current state.
I don't know yet. Still trying to figure that shit out. Hey, Lightning. This game doesn't end with doing battle with gods, since this game technically doesn't end. That's true. Gods are just a step on the journey. I've already killed a bunch. I've killed all of them, actually.
And this path of yours is still there. I cannot see it.
Oh, it's client side. All right. Yeah, that's the whole... That was what the Fiends were doing. They were invading the source so they could die, finally. Don't say the key bearer.
Nor does it reveal itself to me. Perhaps the path serves only the key bearer.
Sora! They'll pay for this.
So it is not a means to travel freely back and forth. A pity.
It is such a plot MacGuffin. It is just like, hey, the thing in your back pocket is just going to take you to wherever the plot needs you to go. Yeah, this is really turning into a Kingdom Hearts game. You are not wrong. Zero Donald and Golbez Goofy. I mean, shit, maybe they're gearing up for a crossover. Who knows? Now seems an opportune time to give Zero the parcel Eula's prepared for her. I'm just gonna randomly do that? I'm not even gonna do it in a cutscene? Something for me? There you go.
That smell. Food, is it? Ah, I recall Eula speaking of the dumplings his mother used to make. Thank you for the parcel, and the fond memories. There's more than enough to share with Golbez. Now that he forgoes the ether of others, I'm sure he'll appreciate the sustenance. I sometimes wonder what the Void would be like if culinary traditions flourished here once more, whether it would suffice to break the cycle of mutual consumption. A heartening thought, if nothing else.
Since Shooting Cross came out, you can easily claim you're a Keyblade wielder. Yeah, they kind of just started handing them out, huh? A beacon from beyond.
Until our battle earlier, I hadn't called upon darkness in some time. In truth, I find light a better fit these days. Ever since you left, we've been roaming the void in search of individuals who would join our cause. Although we returned to the Red Moon after sensing Enuo's presence, rarely do we linger in a single location. However, if the interloper you speak of does intend to seek me out, it might be wise to return to my domain. Why don't you join us? With Enuo defeated, the source should be in no imminent danger. Good. We'll wait for you by the crater.
What if Viper got 2 blades in the crossover and got a gland that looks like Riku? Oh, are you thinking of Roxas? Wielding the Oathkeeper in Oblivion? I actually wouldn't hate that. I don't know how they would combine. That'd be kind of weird. But Roxas is pretty rad. Even if I just got like Oathkeeper and Oblivion themed Viper weapons, I would be okay with that. There was a teleporter situated between here and the center of the moon. I used it to travel to the surface in days long past, though I seldom had need once my generals were in place. Igiorm herself created the device that I might lay low the Servant of Light. Ironic that we now use it in seeking to restore light to the void. Combines to the X-Blade? No, it would have to be something else, because it has to have 2 blades on the ends. I don't know. Ah, forgive my idle reminiscences. 'Tis time we made our descent. Oh, hey. Jesus. Raspberry.
Though it was not always so, so many who live here now have chosen to do so because they support the cause. Indeed, if our numbers continue to grow, we may require more territory. Thankfully, we were able to harness the residual ether from Barbariccia's domain. Those reserves will enable me to expand mine as the need arises. Right, we had best prepare for our potential guest. Join me in my abode when you're ready.
Oh, the claim is master form? Could be. Oh, I can use a mount here. I fly? Nope. Where the hell? Oh. When does Donald end the world with Zeta Flare? That never happened. That timeline got reset.
I imagine you remember these. Transmitters we used to receive light from the First. If memory serves, they work by channeling excess ether left in the wake of the flood into the Crystal Tower. Using the tower's cross-rift capabilities, light is then conveyed onto the 13th into these devices. I have a mind to use them now, but they'll need to be set at an elevated location. Your assistance would be greatly appreciated.
Now we're RPG gaming. Was there a move that you put them in one hand and spun them around? I genuinely don't remember. It's been a long time since I played KH2. Could be. I guess if you put them like overlaid on each other instead of like connecting them at the ends, you just put them like side by side and then held them that way. That could work. It would clip like hell, So you would have to probably do like a model change, which I don't know if they can with Viper, but whatever. Maybe they'll figure it out. If they ever did such a thing. I mean, they're both, I went the wrong way. They're both Square Enix properties. And I would not hate a KH crossover. Especially given the direction we've been going. What are we trying to do here?
Upon activation, these transmitters will shine with light from beyond, sent courtesy of our ever-watchful friends. They will serve as beacons in the dark for those that would seek me out.
Oh, we're setting up a literal lighthouse. Sokotoa. Hey, man. I feel like this is a familiar VA. You just can't hear them because of all the effects on their voice. I want to say it's,
I am Zero, and this is my domain.
what the hell was his name? That shithead kid in
It is a
Stormblood.
safe haven for those who abhor conflict. Among those gathered here, many aspire to restore this world to how it once was.
Such a thing is possible.
Indeed. Though how long the endeavor will take, I cannot say.
I think it started with an H.
But for those of us abandoned by death itself, what do we have but time to try, and try again?
Gatsuyu's brother. Boy, it's gonna bother me.
This light is ample proof your comrades spoke true. However long it takes to restore our world, you shall have my aid.
And you shall have mine.
We're like, the devs were like, we're not gonna let this unique character model go to waste. We're adding them to the story. Alright.
It would seem Ulysses' intervention has helped forge a new bond. Thank you for bringing word to me. I gather you'll head home sooner rather than later?
You will not be able to freely return to Zero's domain. Are you certain you wish to leave? Yes.
And let us return to the Red Moon. I'm sure you won't begrudge me a proper farewell.
I mean, if you really want to go back, just use New Game Plus.
Would you deliver a message to Ulysses for me? Tell him that we're making progress towards rebuilding our home. And I hope that he is too.
Enuo's Memoria will be safe here. The crystal containing Zeromus has been passed on to our allies in the First. If Enuo's Memoria might serve them in restoring their world, we shall likewise consider its transfer.
How much simpler it would be to aid one another in our respective fights, were it not for these boundaries between us.
Something tells me those boundaries won't exist for much longer.
Travels, my friend. We take comfort in the knowledge that you're out there fighting too, wherever you may be.
So they can't see that portal, so what does that look like for them? Do I just blink out of existence? I just like walk behind a curtain in reality?
No luck, I'm afraid. It appears he's not in Mare Lamentorum.
Nope.
Wait. Is that?
I'm back.
God, you had us worried. You suddenly disappeared. We didn't know what to think.
Yeah, it's not my first time doing that though, right? It's just one hell of a powerful hallucinogen.
Shortly after you vanished, the Void-sent incursion abruptly ended.
You're welcome.
We surmised you had a hand in that, but never did it cross our minds that you were fighting alongside Zero and Golbez.
This golden path you said you traversed wasn't visible to us either.
Some sort of Dawntrail, perhaps?
Nor did we hear a voice. Ethos. Might this be the key's true name?
Yeah, I'm calling it Ethos. Ethos sounds too much like Ethel.
While many mysteries remain, for now, I am glad to learn the state of affairs in the 13th. Golbez's suspicion that the barrier twixt worlds has begun to weaken. 'Twould certainly explain the surge in fissures manifesting in the source.
Yet what could be behind such a phenomenon?
Because we killed the forces that were keeping them apart. Oh, hey! You're just gonna roll up, huh?
And who might you be? Not a Void-sent, I'd wager.
Thancred, you and I both know that's not how gunblades work.
Greetings.
Are we gonna be working together? Oh, okay, yep, getting that out of the way.
I am Helmarut of the Asians. We are your sworn foes, I know. But on this occasion, will you not put away your arms?
Cool. She is the Asian of plant life. I mean, it's one Asian. How many have we killed? 4 or 5?
Thank you for affording me a chance.
I like how scared she is of the Warrior of Light. Like, it makes perfect sense, but it's really funny.
We were under the impression you and
to acknowledge that we are
to continue your activities.
Like her natural predator.
You could reveal yourself at this juncture.
She did it at the end of 7.4 where they introduced her, but it's still funny.
I assume you are the one who bestowed Calyx.
Yeah,
with
Lightning's
knowledge of
Gunblade can do
summoning
that.
And the reflections.
Yes, that is correct.
How the mighty have fallen.
Was it necessary to reveal my present form as well?
Calyx. So he succeeded in transferring his memories after all.
I love having two villains, maybe, that are just shit scared of the Warrior of Light.
Even were I to occupy a combat-oriented vessel, I would not have the ability to defeat you.
That's such a fun dynamic.
You destroyed my plan, my life's work. I have naught to replace it, nor will I ever regain what I once had.
If you wish to speak, Halmarut, will you not tell us what it is that you hope to accomplish?
As you know, our star Aetheris was sundered into 4 and 10 shards in the time of the Ancients. As the will of the
Cool.
star, Hydaelyn perpetuated this unnatural division for millennia.
So it's
And
just
in
like
the
we
wake
thought.
of her passing, nature has begun to reassert itself. As a wound knits itself together, the star seeks to become
That's
whole
Earth.
once more.
Yep, just like we thought.
Yes, it seeks to rejoin with all of its shards.
Hydaelyn was keeping them apart. Now that she's gone, they're drifting back together.
Unlike the one we Ascians attempted to orchestrate, however, the star's rejoining will afford mankind no special treatment.
Welcome to Earth.
All life and matter will be condensed into a single whole and remade for a new beginning. A complete rebirth.
The rebirth of the realm, you say?
Aetheris will return to the way it once was. Hundreds of millions of years past.
FF's fun to make fun of. All Square Enix properties are fun to make fun of.
Time. Long before the light of mankind was kindled.
Yes. What are we, some kind of realm reborn?
Supposing for a moment we believe you. How can you possibly know all this?
Is that a serious question, Alize?
It is an inevitability that I have foreseen since time immemorial. A future that awaits should creation be freed from the influence of Hydaelyn and Zodiac.
Yeah, this almost feels like they're gearing up for a way to make like an FF14 too. Can't decide if you have to try 14 or Zenless Zone 0. Well, FF14 is free, and it just got a new expansion that's free. You have 3 expansions to play through completely for free. Zenless Zone 0 is a gacha game.
No grudges, and neither rages nor weeps for being sundered.
14's a lot
By
cheaper.
the same token, it is indifferent to life's survival. No amount of devastation.
Yeah, it's
and
free to
death
play, but it's a gacha
can
game.
compel it to
It's
stop
trying to
the
make you
wheels of
spend money.
creation from turning.
14 is not.
The earth shakes, and mountains spew fire. Floods wash away the fruits of labor, and icy winds freeze and starve. Countless perish as nature runs its course. So many seeds of life have already been lost. Yet in spite of this, people continue to believe that the morrow will come. But it will not. For nothing lies beyond the solstice. When
Solstice.
all creation is reunited. When that day comes, every last trace of mankind shall be erased. I cherish man's journey. Despite losing his innocence and being made to live with suffering, he has forged ever onward. Strong, even as he is weak, his is a proud tale in the history of the star. It would be a shame for that tale to end. For all to wither and die, when some might yet survive. Would you not agree?
If a natural rejoining doth lead unto the solstice,
God damn it.
then thine intent is to preemptively rejoin the worlds.
Wow, they really just went right back to it, huh?
Correct. It was for this very purpose that Halmarut recruited suitable...
Yeah, alright, we're just doing
collaborators
Ascians
from the
again.
Reflections.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Individuals like me, who would willingly doom another world in order to fulfill their aspirations. The Winterers, we are called. And if you and yours seek to protect all life, then sooner or later...
Yeah, I know you told me, I just didn't want to believe you, because it kind of sucks. If I'm being honest.
Even if everything you claim is true, what you've done, Calyx, it's unforgivable.
Arthur fist meme.
I do not ask that you be pragmatic, nor do I seek your approval. Given your familiarity with other reflections, 'tis only natural that you are averse to our methods.
Yeah, I wanted to believe this would not happen.
But there is one irrefutable fact that you must understand. Should we take no action at all, the solstice will come, and no one will be left alive. No one. Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit.
What the fuck?
Like the pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
I thought Xenos for a split second was gonna jump down and grab that. I was like, there's no way they're bringing back Xenos too.
Wait!
Alright, that's fine, I guess. That's... whatever.
There you are. One moment you were standing before me, and the next you'd vanished into thin air. Thanks to you all, the void scent has been eradicated, and the gate lies sealed once more. There's been nary a peep from the crater. Oh, I can't help but notice none of you seem to share my enthusiasm. Is something wrong?
And the Xenos would be a menace? Yeah.
The star seeks to become whole? Oh, that's preposterous. As far as I'm aware, Heidelin made no mention of a natural rejoining. I'll have to consult the records to be certain. But not before thanking you for dispatching the void scent so handily. You well and truly saved the day.
Interesting. Heidelin didn't mention anything about this. That seems like an odd thing to leave out unless you didn't know. Trail to the Heavens, alright. We actually wrapped this patch up really fast. This was like 2.5 hours. The implications of the solstice and the winter's schemes, as well as our approach moving forward, will take time to consider. To that end, I believe we should gather and speak in person. And by we, I mean all our fellow Scions. Of course, we're going to get the Scions back together. For a change of pace, why don't we convene at the Rising Stones? I'm sure Tataru and the others would be happy to meet us there. A fine idea. In many ways, our return is long overdue. No doubt we could all use some respite after Garlemald, but I trust there are no objections. Yeah, I think Jesse Cox said it took like 4.5 hours. Which seemed long at the time, but I was like, maybe this is longer, but this is actually shorter. To settle then, to the Rising Stones. Unless this quest is going to take like an hour to complete. Which I doubt. We might also stop to talk like theories and stuff. Because he is a lore master. Push me. Yeah, they're bringing back the A Realm Reborn ending cutscene. Just a fucking hour and a half of cutscenes. Decided to download 14? Hell yeah, Morganite. Have fun trying to get through A Realm Reborn because it is pretty rough. Would I never play a gacha? I've played several gachas. I tried out Genshin Impact. I played PGR for about a year, Punishing Grey Raven, and I played Wuthering Waves for like a couple months. And I got back into it for a little bit, but then I fell off again. So I played a handful of gachas. PGR is the one I played the most. But I generally am not super crazy about them. I don't like how predatory they are. Nary a thing has changed since we last gathered here. No doubt Tataru is chiefly responsible for the prevailing state of tidiness. Yeah, Matt played Honkai 3rd Impact for like years, and then he also played Star Rail. I don't think he plays any gachas anymore. Nobody plays Heaven Burns Red. That's one of his main games. Speaking of whom, she and a great many of our comrades are en route. Let us wait for them a while longer. New one called Neverness to Everness came out. Yeah, that sounds like a gacha-ass name. There's a new one every year, at least. Wonder if you're ever gonna go back to the original HQ of the Scions? I fucking hope not.
Since last we gathered here.
That place is a pain in the ass to get to. Yeah, they're very stressful by design. They want you to keep coming back because that means you're going to spend more money, or you're more likely to spend more money.
Thereafter,
that's why they
independent of one another.
That's why they have dailies, is to keep you coming back.
Full glad am I to stand.
They're very stressful to play, which is why I don't like them.
Once more.
Or one of the reasons I don't like them. Like I said, very, very predatory. Once you learn a little bit of how, like, predatory game mechanics works, and how they try to, like, sway the player into spending money, you see a tremendous amount of stuff like that in gacha games. It is their entire business model.
We're reporting for duty, as bid.
Yeah, 14 has dailies, but they're not going to come 8.0. And they're not necessary to do.
Estinian alone, we weren't able to make contact.
If you put the game down and you come back to it, you will not have been like left behind. You will just have to pick the game back up and go at your own pace. Yeah, this game is moving to a weekly model starting with 8.0. Which it kind of was, sort of.
Now, as much as I'd like to savor our reunion, Tataru tells us there have been developments.
Yeah, it's a good change. 14 is very, 14 respects your time, like, very, very well. That is one of the reasons why I keep coming back to it. Yeah, it's not till next year, but it's in January next year. You can take this game completely at your own pace. If you want to, you can just treat this like a single-player RPG. And for the most part, that's what it is. Very solo-friendly.
The Winterers and the Solstice.
The veracity of Halmarut's claims remains unclear. Yet it cannot be denied that, in his bid to convert the living into endless, Calyx was privy to knowledge of the reflections and more.
And the Winterers are formed of others, like him.
In light of the recent Voidsent incursions, I believe it would be wise to treat the Solstice as a genuine threat. The problem is how to deal with it.
I can kill the Ascians like we always do. The story has one speed.
And the reflections are home to irreplaceable life. I would protect them all if I could. But if doing so means ushering in complete annihilation, then what can we possibly do?
I wonder, was Hydaelyn aware of the solstice?
Not according to the Loporrits.
Given that we had no knowledge of it when you journeyed to Elpis, you couldn't have warned Venar. So it is entirely possible she was unaware. But in the course of sustaining
Summon Hydaelyn again.
She may have glimpsed this eventuality.
No more primal summoning. It always ends badly. Ooh, I don't think she had any way of knowing, and I think she knew and chose to trust in us. Need to think of a race to play as? Ooh. I think you should have all of them, right? Because you have Shadowbringers in the free trial now, which I believe is the last time they added a new race. So having all the races in the free trial is actually pretty rad. I, of course, played Lalafell, because they're the best. With the Elpis Way, non-corrupted summoning that we need to power the ship to the end of the universe. Yeah. I mean, potentially. The way they talked about it, I don't think Hydaelyn knew. I don't think she knew. I think there might be something that is pulling the stars together. I think Halmarit doesn't know the full picture. I think she's assuming that they naturally want to combine together. But I think there might actually be a force that is pulling them together. Dragon Girls are cool. Oh, the Ora, yeah. Oras are a popular one. Whole world knows of Hydaelyn, just get them all to pray and gather crystals to summon her again. I can't remember how much it took to summon Hydaelyn the first time. Because summoning Zodiark took half of the population of Ancients. And Hydaelyn was stronger than that, so I don't actually know if they will go into how they summoned Hydaelyn, but that's a lot. That requires a lot of power. We might not actually have enough either for that. Yeah, I don't think she knew. I don't think she had any way of knowing.
Indeed. Not even Hydaelyn could be expected to foresee everything.
Like, she would have had to think, what if I die? And, like, will these eventually go together? And she'd have no way of testing that.
It is we who must find the answer. We who live in the here and now.
Is that Aura still coming into Zodiark's pit? Maybe his essence is still pulling the worlds together, just unchecked because we think he's dead? I feel like there's probably more to it than that, but... Maybe.
Perhaps we could take a recess? Oh, I dare say everyone could use a rest.
More forced resting.
Indeed. We have ample food for thought, and it would be good to catch each other up.
Ere I forget, Huron, I believe you should keep the key, Ethos, in your possession. After all, it seems that is one mystery I am not destined to unravel.
Yeah, this might be the time skip to the next patch. Everyone's gonna take a break for 4 straight months. Okay, no, we're still talking to people. Colt and I had remained in Corvos to monitor the situation among the Garleans and the Corvosi. Though seldom smooth sailing, in the time the region settled and we were able to return. I understand the Garlean community has made great strides in improving relations with other people. Hearing that, I feel renewed zeal for resolving the issues in Corvos. And perhaps you'd like to hear more about the Garleans' accomplishments from me and the twins. Might stoke that fire even hotter. Good for you. It was by no means an easy decision, but as the solstices are now our paramount concern, Alize and I have opted to formally withdraw from our efforts in Garlemald. Fair. After all, anything we can do to protect our world will also serve to keep the Garleans safe. Ulyss and his comrades are already working towards a brighter future of their own accord. Honestly, I'm more worried about us. It's so difficult to see the path ahead, but hopefully we can get through this and return to Garlemald with our heads held high one day. Indeed. In the meantime, let us prepare a letter for Ulyss and the community. We mustn't let despair stay our hand. Alright, the band's back together. After Urianger and I went off on our own, we decided to spend some time exploring Jacques Tarot. We never had the chance to visit during the Rite of Succession, you see. We journeyed east through... Lozen Niheta, before heading up to the coast of the frigid northern reaches, where they revere a storied beast of the sea. The excursion only served to reinforce just how diverse Trulaw really is. We also met with the Wallaki. Though we had not the time to study their arts at length, we were privy to several intriguing demonstrations. Would that we could have indulged our curiosity further and travelled to yet more distant lands. For better or for worse, pragmatism tempered our wanderlust. Suffice it to say, we still have plenty to see of the continent. I should very much like to return, given the chance. Judging by your guise, Clemens, your studies must have been productive. Indeed, I have more or less mastered the fundamental principles of Charlian astrology. At one point, I considered exploring other healing arts, but decided to persevere with more focused training to better leverage my skills on the battlefield. I don't think I'd be much of a use on the battlefield these days. I can scarcely hold my bow steady, let alone hit the target. So sorely bereft of brotherly ministrations as I am. Oh, is that the lady that had the fucking threesome with Hoary Boulder and his brother? Jesus Christ. I knew you still required constant supervision. You two haven't changed in the slightest. It makes me wonder how our colleagues that couldn't join us today are faring. Yeah, there's a whole plot line with her getting double-teamed by Ochre Boulder and Hoary Boulder. It's fucking wild. You know what, I was training in Gridania when Void sent attack the Twelveswood. Thankfully, we were able to fend them off with the help of the Twin Adders. When I heard the invasion was already spread across the Scar, I realized the gravity of the situation and ordered a confidential report sent to the other Scions. That's why Tataru was so quickly appraised. Thanks to you, we were able to make haste for Garlemald. Our circumstances and duty may keep us apart. We remain bound by common purpose. Indeed. May that purpose continue to guide us now that we stand together once again. Alright. It seems everyone has much and more to discuss with one another. Anyway, you're overdue for a proper break. The peace and quiet will help you think. Feel free to make yourself comfortable in Dawn's respite. Alright, so we are stopping here. Alright, what's the stinger? Or are they going to pull out at the last second?
Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit.
Is the one Aura girl from the Evercold trailer gonna show up and give us like a vision?
Pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to
It was
face
like a request for help. Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, your only hope. That kind of thing.
I detest evenings such as this. Too bright, too stimulating.
Calyx?
The mind distracted by the inconsequential.
Oh, hey.
You needn't be so wary. I merely come to offer information before my departure. Halmarut and I will soon cross the rift to observe the enactment of another Winter's plan. Our destination is the fourth.
All right, you're just telling us what you're gonna do? Why though?
A world locked in ice, whose lands are blanketed in thick clouds. In order to survive, man has fled to the skies, using great magics to establish new civilizations.
Sounds exciting. Why tell me where you're going? Like, why would you offer this information?
I have my own designs I would see realized.
Okay.
Nothing more. Believe me or don't, as you like. For all I know, you lack the means to follow us anyway.
That is the laziest excuse I could possibly think of.
What Halmarut said to you earlier. She suggested that dealing with the reflections might satisfy your ambition. But is that truly so? You have seen battles beyond counting, have defeated even the fear of death. Is there some conclusion that you seek, no matter the cost? I will share with you a truth. We Winterers each have an ambition that we wish to fulfill. To that end, we may share information with one another, but we do not necessarily share the same beliefs. Just as you and yours decried my actions, I find those of my fellows objectionable.
Okay.
Be that as it may.
So he's basically telling us this because he wants to screw over the other Winterers.
It is the culmination of our lives' works that we would bring to the world. Fruits born of undying devotion, daring aspiration, and unwavering ideals. No matter how we are reviled, no matter what we must steal, our actions will be vindicated by those who abide in the future we create. In your benevolence, you may seek to save everything and everyone. But once all is consequently consigned to oblivion, your noble deeds will amount to nothing more than folly. For no living soul shall remain to judge them.
Basically just saying that the ends justify the means. If everyone's dead, who cares what we do? I like the transition there, showing his actual character model. That's neat. That's it, I guess. If shattered stars are doomed to mend, how turns the key to winter's end? All right. And that is 7.5. Locking in at almost 3 hours. About 2.5, really. Okay. Well, we got some time to chat. Those in there. Saying that if you save everyone, you doom everyone to non-existence. Isn't that what Medion was trying to do? I mean, kinda. Medion was trying to stop anyone from ever being born again, because life was suffering. He's saying pretty much like, it doesn't really matter how evil they are and like what atrocities they enact, because at the end of the day, they're going to be people alive. So they're going to be vindicated by the fact that people are still, man still exists. Whereas if we try to stop them at every turn, then we'll end up just dooming everybody. Like, we'll kill literally everyone in existence. All right. I think as far as 7.5 patches, that might be my least favorite one. I'm trying to think of all the other 0.5 patches and the lead-ups to other expansions, and I think this is my least favorite. I like the combat content. Like, the dungeon and the trial are fun. I think writing-wise, this might be the weakest. As far as lead-up to another patch. Because even the only other one that might be weaker than this is Dawntrail's lead-up in 7.55. Because that was literally Wooklamot showed up and was like, hey, I need a bodyguard, want to help? And then you just go with her. This is pretty much just... There's a lot of the villains just telling you what they're going to do for some reason, and I really don't love that. Every time there's an Umbral Calamity, people survive. Why wouldn't people survive the rejoining? Well, the problem is that it's not going to be an Umbral Calamity, like just one... Because they said the rejoinings that they were triggered were designed so that people could still survive them. Right? Like, it was still somewhat controlled. This rejoining, the Solstice, would be all of the reflections crashing into each other at the same time, unrestricted. So it would just be complete, like, obliteration. That was what Hallmer mentioned. So as far as their plan, they're just going to keep doing the same thing because it works good enough. But yeah. Crisis on Infinite Earths plot much? Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I think I really don't like just how much the villains tell you stuff for no reason. Like, Homer explaining the entire... Like, literally, she shows up and is like, hey, you're clearly not sure what's going on. I'm literally just going to tell you everything and then what we're going to do, and if you stop us, whatever. Like, I don't care. And then Calyx shows up and is like, oh, by the way, we're going to the 4th next. Just letting you know. And then just dips. And that just feels really lazy to me. That's what this feels like. This lead-up feels tremendously lazy. It's literally just going back to the plot line that we left in Endwalker. The Ascians are going around rejoining shards and we have to stop them. It feels creatively bankrupt. Two things I can think of that might be some interesting holes in the idea. What's that? Because like I mentioned before, FF14 tells two stories, right? Wars and apocalypses. They did that until they hit Dawntrail, and then they did like half of the expansion where there was no war or apocalypse, and they didn't really know what to do as far as the writing, and then they brought a war and apocalypse back. And then they left that for a little bit, and now we're right back into it. For Spinal Hole, what's going to happen to the 14th shard, the Ascian's test run? Oh, you mean the Void, the 13th? I mean, I assume it would just join the same as everything else. I don't see why there would be anything weird that stops that from happening. The 14th? There is no 14th. There's the 1st through 13th, and then there's the Source. The Void is what you're thinking of. It's called the 13th. Yeah. It was consumed by darkness, and they fucked it up. There are 14 shards, but they're numbered 1 through 13 plus Source. So the Void is the 13th, and the Shadowbringer's World, the 1st, is the 1st. The Source is not counted as a reflection. It's a bit weird. Yeah, no, the one that you're thinking of is the Void. It was consumed completely by darkness and it never rejoined. That's why we were able to go there. They flooded it too much. Because remember when we looked, there's two conditions, right? There's the filling of the ether, so they have to overload one of the elements, and then the second one is to breach the dimensional barrier and funnel the rejoining in. They didn't do that second condition, so they screwed it up. What about the Crystal Exarch coming from the future? That timeline no longer exists. The Crystal Exarch coming back basically closed that off. As far as I'm aware, there was no, like, multi-timeline theory in 14. Yeah, he went back and changed the past, I believe. I'd have to go double-check that, but that timeline shouldn't affect anything, I don't think. We're not going to have, like, a Future Trunks plotline. I guess he is kind of the Future Trunks plotline, now that I say that. That's basically what he is. Yeah, so it's a bit weird. The Crystal Exarch was on the Source, and they time traveled backwards in time and also traveled between reflections to the first. Yeah, he did both at the same time. He went backwards to the first, so he time traveled and also dimensional traveled. Because that's why they even mentioned it in this patch. The reason they were able to funnel light into the Void is to use that cross-dimensional capacity that the Crystal Tower has from the first. They're only able to do that because of that, of the tower and all the modifications they made to it. It's, yeah, it's kind of weird. Because the Crystal Tower only exists on the Source. That is not a reflection thing. That was the Elegant Empire. Yeah, now we have a personal gate with this Ethos key, or Ethos. I'm calling it Ethos. That sounds better. Which, that's another thing that I was going to mention as far as, like, lazy writing. That also feels really lazy. Literally just having a, like, emergency alert button that just takes the Warrior of Light to wherever they need to go. Don't love that. That seems extremely contrived. There might be more to it, like maybe in the next patch in 5.5, because there is going to be more MSQ. Sorry, it's 5.6 for some reason. In 5.6, there is going to be more MSQ, and they might explain that more. But yeah, it just feels really lazy. I feel like they didn't know how to build up to this, and they just kind of threw everything in at the end of like, we're just going to go back to doing what we were doing. Here you go. It's just the plotline you're familiar with for the first 10 years of the game. We're just doing it again. Yeah, there's probably going to be some narrative way they explain, you know, yanking other people with you. Might as well just hold hands. I don't know. But yeah, as far as lead up to the next expansion, I think just because of how many narrative contrivances there are, I think this is my least favorite one. I think even compared to Dawntrail, that was just literally Wooklamot showed up and was like, come to Tyrol, and then we went. At least that wasn't contrived, that was just like random. This felt like a lot of, let's just tell the player what we're gonna do. Because it just doesn't make sense why... I mean, maybe they'll explain it later as to why Halmarut and Calyx would explain their plans to you. But, it's like, it's the opposite of subtle. And, like, 14's not a very subtle game in general. It's pretty anvilicious, honestly. But this is probably the least subtle they've ever been. Get into a weak barrier and the key malfunctioned when studying it. Doing the research team to get thrown into another reflection. You show up, stabilize it with Azem's crystal, and now your purpose is to save the team. Yeah, like, there's so many different ways they could have done it. Like, they have this weak barrier, we have the key. Like, even the key... If the key had just been a way to traverse reflections, I would have been fine with that. If it's literally just, like, a Stargate, you know, you just have it, and you can just go. I would have been fine with that. But the fact that it's automatic and just takes you to where you need to be, yeah, I'm really not a fan of that. That is super weak. Because I think of, like, the 0.5 patch in A Realm Reborn was the Bloody Banquet, right? Which was crazy. It's an hour and a half of cutscenes to get you into Heavensward. Then in Heavensward... They have the Griffin plotline, where Ilberd fucking goes crazy and does all that shit at Bilser's Wall, and then Shinryu gets summoned, and then Omega gets summoned to stop it, and they have a big fight, and then they go, you know, off into the distance, and then it's like, okay, well now we have that to deal with. Shinryu's out there somewhere, and we have a giant hole in Bilser's Wall, and we're basically at war with the Garleans again, so we have to go deal with that, right? Like, that was a good lead up. And then after Stormblood, probably the best lead up in the game, which is the one to Shadowbringers, where you're still at war with the Garleans. There's, like, the Black Rose plotline, and then you start getting pulled, right? Like, the Scions start getting called to the first, and everyone's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, which is the best lead up to any expansion in the game. And then you have the lead up to Endwalker, which is the towers appearing and Fandaniel showing up, which is one of the weaker ones, I think, but I think was still better. And then you have the lead up to Dawntrail, which is literally half a patch, where Wooklamot just shows up, and then you have this, where we have a plot MacGuffin that takes us to exactly where we need to go, and all of the villains are just openly explaining their plans to us and telling us what's going on for no reason. Like, Calyx explaining what he... Calyx explaining that they're going to the Fourth kind of makes sense, considering, like he said, he's not fully on board with the other Winterers. So, like, he kind of wants us to stop them. That one's, you know, I can kind of see where they're going with that, but it's still very weak writing. Would have been fine with it. Something you plug into the Golden Gates. You stop Cyril Jaw at. Enter the gate's X location per reflection. Yeah, like using that as a Stargate, basically. Could have been that. I think lore-wise that wouldn't have made sense, because that gate, I believe, was made by the Alexandrians or something like that. Whereas this key is made by Azem. So that wouldn't have quite worked. Yeah, no, it's alright. Like, there could have been a way to find out, like, okay, even if they were like, alright, Halmarut is doing something, is there a way, if after you learn from Zero and Golbez, like, the barriers between worlds are basically beginning to break down as all the reflections drift together, you could have had Ishtola or, like, Shale or someone be like, hey, if the worlds are drifting back together, then maybe we should be on the lookout for, like, what's the closest to rejoining. Is maybe there a way we can figure that out? And they could have used the key to make some sort of dimensional sensor And they could have been like, oh man, the 4th, you know, that's getting pretty close. You know, we got a big ice planet rocketing towards the source. You know, something like that. I don't know. Something that isn't just the villains showing up and telling you what their plans are. That's just tremendously lazy writing. Yeah, I don't know. I was not a fan of the Ascians coming back in the first place, right? Like seeing Halmarut show up at the end of 7.4, I was a little worried about. You know, like I like the idea of the withering that they mentioned and all the stars coming together, right? Which was what we thought it was. It was Heidelin was keeping them apart, or at least that's what they think it was. But I was still hesitant at the fact that the Ascians came back, and now that it's revealed that it's like, yeah, they're just going to rejoin the shards again. They're just not stopping with that. I'm not excited for where we're going, frankly. Story-wise, this does not bode well. The quality of the writing of this patch has me pretty worried moving forward. Especially given all the problems they had with Dawntrail. You don't know that worlds overfilled with ether means a calamity is coming? Them getting a way to detect the ether of a calamity in the horizon, you'd be sent to fix it like you did on the first? Yeah, like, that would have been a more player, I guess not player agency, but like, a more determinative way for the characters and our allies to actually move the story forward. Like, I feel like the devs, or the writers, I should say, just didn't know. Like, I feel like they wrote themselves into a corner on how they were going to get us to other shards. And then this patch, they were just like, fuck it. Just throw them there. With the plot MacGuffin. Yeah. I mean, maybe 0.56 will change my mind. Maybe whatever MSQ we get there for the lead up to Evercold will change my mind. But I am not confident in their ability to write moving forward after this. Because even with all of the troubles they had with Dawntrail, I feel like they were still trying to do something that was pretty interesting. This feels rough. Like, this is some low-tier Marvel movie writing. And that's kind of being generous, to be perfectly honest. Using the key in Zem's MacGuffin to traverse the realms. You know that a Zem summons other heroes from other shards. Using a Zem's crystal makes sense to use it to traverse the shards and reflections. Yeah, like, using that crystal and using the key together makes perfect sense. Like, they could have done any number of things to use that to get to other shards. But the fact that they set it up that in this patch it's basically random, it just sends you where it sends you. Because they mentioned before, earlier in the patch, when they were doing research on the key, trying to figure out how it works, that all of the times that they had tried to make a portal, it was random where it sent them to. Like, they couldn't get it to go to the place they wanted. So that to me says that it goes where it wants to go, and you just basically have to follow it. Which started in this patch. So it just kind of seems like you're getting dragged around by the plot. Like, it's... Yeah, I don't know. That's really lazy. I'll have to see what other people think. I'll check out some other content creators and see... Like, I'd be curious to see what Jesse Cox thinks. Because I know he's a lore master. So when it comes to story and writing in the game, I feel like he knows a lot more than me. Yeah, it feels like we're being led by the nose. Sounds like the TARDIS goes where it wants to go, kinda. Yeah, this... I was pretty interested in the plot. Like, I was feeling pretty good about the plot leading up to this patch. I think this patch really kind of took the wind out of my sails. I'm very unimpressed. I mean, I'm still going to pre-order and play the shit out of Evercold. One of the things I've said before, I don't know if I've said it on stream, is if Dawntrail is the worst that the story gets, I think we're going to be okay. Because, like, you know, even with all the problems that Dawntrail had, of which it had many, I totally acknowledge that, I still felt like they were trying something interesting. So, you know, even if they make something that's interesting but messy in the future, I think I'll still enjoy it. This is really concerning. Like, this really feels like they are just not... their heart's not in it anymore. I mean, they might turn it around with Evercold. Maybe it's just like, this is just a stumble of they didn't know how to get to Evercold, but the Evercold story is actually going to be very good. Very possible. But this is a very, very poor lead up to it. Because I have a feeling 0.56 is literally going to be us telling everyone, like, hey, the next place they're going is the 4th. And then we're just going to figure out how to bring everybody with us through the ethos. And then we're just literally just going to portal into the 4th and see what's going on. Like, there's no, There's just going to be, like, really no lead up to it at all. Do I think the whole of 7.x is a massive stumble? No. I think 7.1 to 7.3 is actually very solid. The whole Koana thing in 7.1 is not great, but I think it sets up 7.2 and 0.3 really well. Like, I really, really like 0.2 and 0.3. 0.4 was good, because it's just sort of a Kryl side story, which is fun. Kryl gets more characterization, you see the people in Trano, all that fun stuff. And then even with introducing Halmarut, and being like, oh, the stars are starting to rejoin, like, on their own naturally, and so there's going to be this big apocalypse coming up, I was hesitant, but there were still ways they could have done that to still make that interesting. And then this rolled around, and it's just like, nope, we're doing the most boring thing we could have done. It's literally everything you already know. It's what we did for 10 years before Dawntrail. Yeah. I think 0.5 is a massive stumble. I think everything up until 0.5 was good. I just think this is... I mean, if you're really into the idea of just going back to what we'd already done before, like, you probably don't care. Feel cheated isn't right, but it's close. Yeah, it feels... It's just like a... There was a lot of potential here, and they just kind of didn't do anything with it. There was a lot of potential for something new and interesting, and they just didn't go for it. Yeah. That's unfortunate. But the content's fun. So, you know, at least there's that. Like, especially as a big world-ending event, I feel like the Solstice is interesting. I just hate that the fucking Halmarut is just rejoining the shards again. Like, it really... I think we clocked this even when we talked about Evercold. But it really does just feel like Evercold is Shadowbringers again. I think they might have... Well, no, I can't even say that because Yoshi P talked about... Before Dawntrail, I think, even came out, they were already in talks for what the cinematic trailer for 8.0 was going to be. So, like, they had this plan for a while. It just feels like they got spooked by Dawntrail not performing well, and they just wanted to do Shadowbringers again because that's their most popular expansion. Like, it doesn't feel like they were naturally leading up to this. This feels like a left turn that they made out of fear. But it can't be because, like, they think of these things way in advance. Like, yeah, sure, have an Ascian, but maybe make them a temporary ally. That's what I wanted. I wanted Halmarut to work with us. And I mean, they still might do that. Because Halmarut doesn't want mankind to be destroyed. That's why she's doing this. That's literally her whole plan. It's just that she's willing to make a lot of sacrifices to get there. Which is very ancient of her. Very, very Ascian of her. One, you stop through the apocalypse, and two, the Ascians get more time to do it their way. Like a callback to Emmett Selk. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe what might happen in Evercold is Halmarut realizes she's wrong. That I think would be interesting. Is if Halmarut goes through the whole process of like, yep, we're gonna rejoin the shards, right? We're just gonna do, you know, that's the way Dad did it, that's the way God did it, and it's worked pretty well so far. Let's just rejoin everything. And then she's gonna get more information and realize, oh no, there actually might be a better way. Maybe we don't actually have to rejoin everything. Because she doesn't want to also be in opposition to the Warrior of Light. She's terrified of us. She's fucking terrified of the Warrior of Light. Because she knows how much of a danger the Warrior of Light is to Ascians like her. So I think if she gets the opportunity to actually work with us, I think she'll take it. I don't think she has a reason to oppose us out of principle. She seems very pragmatic as far as Ascians go. Because the other Ascians were trying to remake, like, the original world, Lytheris as it was, right? Bring back Elpis, basically. That was just one place in it, but you know what I mean? Because they wanted to go back home. I don't think Halmarut cares about going back home. I think she actually cares about just saving as many people as she can, and this is the only way that she thinks it's going to work. Or maybe there's a way to rejoin without an apocalypse or calamity. The only reason I say why that's unlikely is because we're going to have 2 expansions by the time Evercold comes out that are set completely in other shards. And rejoining without an apocalypse or calamity would still mean that those zones cease to exist, right? So if they were to go through with that, that would basically be them sunsetting 14 of like, that's literally the last thing that you do because 2 expansions would vanish. So I don't think rejoining is going to happen because that's just game design wise a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could bring this back. They could still have a good story for Evercold, but this is a very, very lazy lead up. Like the other thing they could introduce as well is the other Winterers. Because they have a lot of allies, they've already said so, but they all have different like ultimate goals. So it could be that there's going to be like a Winterer who appears, maybe that one Orrod dude in the Evercold trailer, the one with the glowing eyes. He could be a Winterer, and maybe he does stuff that is like throws a wrench into Halmarut's plans, and we have to work together or something like that. That's maybe how she, you know, becomes our ally, or I don't know. And like I have no idea what Calyx is trying to do at this point, because he basically said like, yeah, you fucked up all of my life's work and there's no way to go back to it because I'm stuck in this scroll suit. So he's a complete wild card. He could go in any direction. Because his whole deal was, I'm gonna elevate human evolution to basically make us all immortal by making everyone endless. Maybe the balanced rejoining is like Solution 9. Part of the shard acts as a bridge, rejoining by proxy. Portion is anchored and travel freely between the shards. Crystal Tower could be the weight of the first, and the moon is the weight of the 13th. Maybe. That's not a terrible idea. Basically just having a portion of the source get like a theme park of a shard. Just in various places until everyone's anchored. I don't know. I feel like the other way they could have thrown a wrench into Halmerud's plan is to go to the 9th. Right? Because they, throughout this whole thing of them talking about, like, yeah, the 13th, the Void, is basically getting too close. And Void Center popping up like crazy. They never talked about the 1st or the 9th, and we can freely go to the 9th. Like, all the Scions can go to the 9th whenever they want. Just through the portal to living memory. So I feel like that could have been a very easy way to just be like, yeah, we're going to the 9th and everything's fine here. So either it hasn't happened to the 9th yet, or Halmerud's got the wrong of it, and something else is happening that's causing the reflections to get closer. That's just not happening to the 9th yet. Right? It's not happening all equally. I mean, hell, even if they wanted to, we could have gone back to the 1st. Right? Back to Shadowbringers and checked out there. Because we're not having, like, light pour into the source yet. It's just the 13th. Yeah, they almost rejoined the 9th. They were, like, this close. But it was not fully rejoined. It was basically just kind of the same thing that happened to the Void. It was just overcharged with lightning instead of darkness. So, yeah. Because I mean, they could have had Sin Eaters popping through to the source. Although they clearly wanted to show Zero and Golbez again to kind of like tie them back in and be like, hey, things are still happening in the Void. Yeah, the 13th is by far the most easy to break into because of all the Void Summoners. Like, yeah, that's a whole thing, deal in Aromaborn. And it could be because it's darkness, which is the element of change and like action. That could also play into it, whereas the first is light, which is stasis, so, you know, that might also factor in. But I feel like they could have, if they wanted to, brought the 9th into it to basically confirm Halmerud's words, right? Not just take her word for what it is. Because in theory, we should be seeing an overload of lightning into the source. Maybe that'll happen eventually. I don't know. Might have just been that the 13th is the most likely to do it anyways, so that was the first one. I feel like in Evercold, what's going to happen is they're going to have to basically say that Halmerud is wrong in the story. 9th is perfectly anchored with the fact that the city's right there and fine. Well, maybe. But I mean, it's still its own reflection that exists that will rejoin if Halmerud is right. So, like, there isn't necessarily an anchor, it's just you can get there easily because of the portal. But I feel like Evercold is going to have to establish that Halmerud is wrong. Because we're not going to the Void, and that's the one that's currently busting into the source. Big F on trusting an Ascian. Why do we believe her? Because she has no reason to lie right now. Especially considering at the end of 7.4, that cutscene that she was in was between her and Calyx in private. And it lines up with what she's talked about in 7.5. So it wouldn't make sense unless she was lying to Calyx, which is possible. But that would be a hell of a left turn. We have currently no reason to believe that she's lying, but it's, yeah, could happen. At this point, anything could happen as far as lazy writing. But I'm thinking if we go to 8.0, like if we go to the 4th, right? The 13th is still a problem. It's still going to be busting into the 1st. Or the source. Although I guess maybe that was just because of Enuo, like he was just making a big play. Again, that's another lazy thing, is Enuo, the big bad new trial of 7.5, is just some jobber who shows up and you immediately kill and move on. Once again, tremendously lazy. No build up to him whatsoever. Yeah, the Winterers don't all like each other, so they have potentially reasons to lie. But then it's like, if she's lying, why? Like, what potential reason could she have that's a good enough reason to do that? Like, the only reason I could think of that she's lying is that she actually wants to rejoin it just to do exactly what the original Ascians wanted to do anyways, which is recreate Aetheris as it was, which is even more lazy. That's literally just the plot of the first bit of the game. Instead of having almost the exact same plot, it would be the exact same plot. Yeah, so I feel like in Evercold they're going to basically confirm that Halmur is incorrect. I don't know how. Or at least they'll imply it. Drop parallel to Shadowbringers again. Go to the first, have to solve that while the Galarian War is happening. 8.0, we go to the 4th, and the 13's causing war elsewhere that we have to worry about. Yeah, but that Garlean War was not a world-ending threat. That was just the Garleans being Garleans. And that was a lot of what Xenos was doing. We always had, like, we kept flashing back to Xenos and Gaius. But, like, meanwhile, in Garlemald, which, I mean, yeah, could be more parallels to Shadowbringers. They're just going to make Shadowbringers 2. Which, again, we've already said that Evercold's basically that. The Garlean succeeded, the realms would have merged? No, that's not how that works. That was not a plot point. If the Garleans won that war, they would have conquered Eorzea, but Black Rose was dealt with, right? Black Rose was the problem. Because it was basically a connection of stasis, right? It was a light-based disease that was basically killing everyone, which was, you know, everyone was stopping. So that's how they're going to make the bridge between the source and the first. But they dealt with Black Rose during Shadowbringers. So if the Garleans had won, it would have been bad, but it would not have caused a rejoining. Especially considering we were stopping Emmett Selk on the first while that was happening. So even if they had gotten away with Black Rose, that still wouldn't have happened because Emmett Selk wouldn't have been able to break the dimensional barrier. Crystal Exarch said that if you went back to the war and got hit with Black Rose, you would have died, and that would have been the final nail for the 8th Emerald Calamity. Yes, but remember that the vision that he told to Urianger was false. Like, remember that was a plot point that he lied about that. And they dealt with Black Rose during Shadowbringers because they knew about it, right? That got brought up before they went to the first. Yeah. So, I mean, the Garleans going to war is still a problem because, you know, they're killing all the characters, you know. But it would not have... It's not like the same thing as the Void Scent incursion that we just dealt with. Like, that's way bigger of an issue. Because the dimensional wall is already breaking down. So if we don't deal with the 13th, it might just cause a rejoining on its own. Yeah, Urianger and his deception. One of his favorite moves. I mean, you could even make the comparison that the all-raw woman you see in the Evercold trailer is the Crystal Exarch, but for the 4th. Yeah, it certainly seems like they're just redoing Shadowbringers. And I don't know if that's because Dawntrail didn't perform well, or if this was always their plan, but it does certainly seem like they're just doing everything again, because they don't know what else to do. It just moved the moon and Aetheris so the worlds are misaligned. We actually don't know how the reflections work in physical space. Because, like, if you go to the first, right, and you take a spaceship and just fly off into the distance, like, are the galaxies also reflections? Or are the other planets still the same? Right, can you even go into space? Is there any space? That's one of the kind of the biggest unanswered questions as to how that works. As far as we're aware, they share a fairly similar space, but we don't know if the moons are exact. Could not tell you. Maybe a lore master would know, but I don't. They share the same space in the Medion River, affecting all the reflections at once. Well, Medion was in the source, right? Like, she was off in the galaxy, and she came from the source originally, because she was elsewhere when the Sundering happened. So, I guess that means that it was just the planet was sundered, everything else is fine. She left the original Aetheris to go into deep space before Hydaelyn sundered everything. And as far as we're aware, we didn't hear anything about the final days happening on the reflections. It only seemed to affect the source. Unless fucking Reen and Gaia and everyone of the first just fucking forgot to say anything. Which seems unlikely, considering you went there during the Endwalker patches to deal with funneling light to the 13th. I feel like they would have said something. But, like, if you go on the first and then you fly into space, and you fly back, do you come back to the first, or do you come back to the source? Like, what happens if two people take off into space from the source and a reflection? Can they meet up on the same planet? Or are they in, like, different instances of the galaxy? Like, how does that work? We had the end of the world happen, another end of the world didn't bother us, no need to tell you. Yeah, it's just just normal to them. You're like, yeah, we saw some weird Sin Eaters. We didn't know what was happening, but they stopped showing up, so I guess we're cool. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'll probably never address that. That's kind of just like the unspoken don't talk about it, because there's no real easy way to explain that. I think the real nail in the coffin for Evercold will be if there's another zombie outbreak like there was in Shadowbringers and Endwalker. Because even when I went through Endwalker, I thought that was like, oh, we're doing Sin Eaters again. Okay, fine. Whatever. If we go into the fourth and there's another monster that if it kills you, you become it, I'm gonna be real pissed. I don't think they will, because I don't think that makes any sense. The Unethered and the Source and the Sin Eaters were just transformations of regular people? I don't know what you mean by Oh, you mean the blasphemies in Endwalker? Yeah. If you fell to despair because of the Endsinger in the Source during the final days, you would transform into a blasphemy. And your ether would basically get consumed and get replaced by Dynamis. It was basically like a Dynamis overload. Sin Eaters were basically the same thing, but it was an overload of light. It's Viking themed. They die and turn into Draugr. Oh, God. I hate that that could be real. Just ice zombies. I mean, that... Based on the lore of 14 and how the universe works, I don't think that would happen. Like, there might be Draugr-themed enemies, but I don't think it'll be like a Sin Eater blasphemy thing again. I think there'll just be a thing that can happen. Like, enemies becoming very ice-infused because of all the ice on the fourth. But I think if you die, you just die. Or what it could be is that if you stay too long on the surface of the fourth, because they said that was like the surface was destroyed, and then it's the floating islands of the fourth that are normal. That could be it. If you go to the ground and you stay too long there, you basically get infused with ice ether and become an ice monster. Can we get more people for the Gentlemanly Dead? Maybe that'll show up in a Hildebrand plot line. I'll go get some ice zombies from the fourth. Yeah, I can see that being the case. I just don't think it'll be like, roaming monsters that transform people into them. I don't think they're gonna do that for a third time, although at this rate, I don't know anything anymore. Like, fuck, they could just do Pope turns into a giant knight that you have to kill again at this point. I don't know. I have zero faith moving forward, to be perfectly honest. Random question? Shoot. Who was Hildebrand in the first? I don't think we know. I forget, you go to the first during one of the Hildebrand quest lines and you see like a Hildebrand Sin Eater or something, but I do not remember what that was all about. I would have to watch those cutscenes again. Like, I can't remember if he was in the first, like he somehow traveled there through comedy shenanigans, or if there was a different Hildebrand. I do not remember. So, that answer might exist, but I can't answer it. I don't have it for you. Yeah, what else? I mean, I like the dungeons in this. The dungeons in the trial of this were actually really fun. So again, like, Dawntrail, for all its faults, still has banger content. If Hildebrand was a Sin Eater, he'd keep his own mind and rocket. Oh yeah, he's invincible for comedy reasons. But the dungeon was fun. I like the aesthetic of just like a Garlemald themed dungeon where you're going through the wintry streets. That was fun. I like that a lot. Boss mechanics were fun, and Yule was a really fun fight. I don't think he's a particularly hard fight compared to some of the trials. But he has some neat mechanics that I did enjoy. I like that spinny cone thing that he does doesn't give you a vulnerability stack. Like, you don't have to perfect that. I do like that Dawntrail's had more mechanics like that, where if you get hit, it's not a vuln stack. It's just, try not to, because it hurts. Yeah. That pretty much wraps it up as far as 7.5. I am not impressed. I'm very worried moving forward. I was feeling good, and now I am not. So they gotta get me back in, because this was lazy. My idea of anchoring the reflections like the 9th and could land the 4th in Kurthis, cold-themed and floating islands? Could be. Could very well be. Yeah, we'll have to see. I think I might just end stream. I mean, we could do something for like half an hour, but I've said pretty much all I want to say about 7.5. I've complained about it enough. I will see what other people say. I have a feeling it's probably going to be fairly well received, because people are just excited to get back to what 14 already did. That's another thing too, which is strange to me. Because when they were going through the media tour for Dawntrail and talking about what they were doing, still your idea of Ragnarok? We think we might get a 4th of Odin. I think Odin is definitely going to show up in Evercold, either as like a boss or as a major part of it. I don't know how, but we'll see. But when they were going through Dawntrail, they said that Dawntrail was going to be a lot of throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. Of like, they were going to try a lot of different things and see what the community wanted. And this is really just going back to doing exactly what they were doing. Like, this doesn't feel new. I mean, it could have been gameplay-wise. They were trying new stuff. That's why they're making all the gameplay changes for 8.0. This is Fimbulwinter. They're going to throw a God of War reference somewhere. They could. They like to make references sometimes. Have a character say, boy. Yeah, I'm assuming that the ice apocalypse that happened on the 4th is going to be called Fimbulwinter. Like, and then Fimbulwinter happened and everything got cold. And we had to go on the floating islands. I assume that's what they'll say. Or we get a Trace's bow. A crossover could be done. They could just call it Ragnarok as well, which I feel like would be a bit of a waste. I feel like Ragnarok could be something more interesting than... I feel like Fimbulwinter is a much better match. But I don't know. At this point, anything is possible. I'm also curious if Halmarut is going to be the main villain, or if it's going to be someone else, like another Winterer. I feel like they're not going to get rid of Halmarut or Calyx yet. I feel like they're building them up to be pretty big villains. Maybe Fimbulwinter to start, and then shit hits the fan, and Ragnarok hits partway through. Maybe? I feel like it'd still just be Fimbulwinter, though. Like, I feel like, if anything, Ragnarok is going to be the villain trying to fully, like, crash the islands into the 4th and try and kickstart some sort of, you know, localized Big Bang event that, like, gets rid of all the winter. Right? Like, they just colony drop and just superheat the planet to get rid of the ice. Call that Ragnarok. I could see that being the case. Yeah. If it is Ragnarok, then the big bad is Surtur. I could see a Winterer called Surtur. I don't know how heavy they'll go into the Norse theming. Like, it seems like they're going fairly heavy into it. But I don't know what the extent of that. If they're, like, really going to drive it home. We'll need to start getting names for locations to see how much they're doing. I'm really hoping it's still FF5. Like... I'm putting all my chips into that, putting all my chips on Evercold is FF5 themed. Also feels a little on the nose. Yeah, well, after this, I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that they're on the nose. Winter is in a cold themed area, yeah. I mean, I kind of get that of the withering, and so they're going to, like, wither, or, like, weather out the storm, right? Like, they're holding themselves in for winter. You know, like bunkering down. That kind of makes sense. So that one I don't consider to be too obvious. Because it made sense before they introduced the 4th as, like, the cold area. Right? Like, they're not called the Winterers because of the 4th. They're called the Winterers for another reason. I think it just kind of aligned that way. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in my FF5 theory. I mean, I don't know how FF5 themed it's gonna be, but, like, based on the teaser, boy, are there a lot of parallels. Yeah, like that. The fact that they're like, yes, everything was good in our world. They're like, we wanted for nothing, and then they show the water crystal that you can see is clearly being eaten away at the bottom, which is like, that's probably not supposed to be right. And then it's like, and then everything went bad. And, like, yeah, that's the plot of 5. They were abusing the crystals for their own gain, and then they exploded and fucked everything up, or at least that was a part of 5. And, like, what's a town in FF games that has a lot of lava around it? Karnak. It literally had a tower full of lava right in the center of the town, and lava moats outside. Looks a lot like that concept art we saw. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I feel like they might still have another game they're referencing. People mentioned FF7, and I think that could be the case, that they're going to throw some FF7 references in there. Like, I think there is room for that. given some of the naming conventions of 7. Like, that might show up in the next, in the full trailer. We'll see it in the Tokyo Fan Fest. I believe that's when the full trailer gets announced. Or shown, I should say. So, they might be like, yes, and then the Traveler came, Genova! Right, and then the guy named Sephiroth saved the world, and it's like, oh, okay, I see where we're going with this. One of the mayors of one of the towns is going to be Palmer, yeah. I feel like, if anything, if they're going to reference 7 heavily, they're going to reference 7 and 8 at the same time. Because they both have, like, really big Magitech influences and, like, kind of high technology stuff. I feel like they're saving that for its own expansion of 7 and 8 together. That makes a lot more sense to me. I feel like if they do 7 references here, they're going to be fairly minor. And they're going to save, like, the primary amount of 7 for, like, a 7 and 8 themed expansion. Yeah, well, high tech is Garlean, but it's not, like... 7 is more diesel punk, whereas Garlean is more sci-fi. Or that one game with the Mystic Knights, Saris? Oh, FF6? Yeah. Like, that kind of Magitech is very much in the game already with the Garleans, right? Like, the Garlean Magitech armor literally just 1-to-1 pulled from FF6. Right? Like, that classic... The classic Magitech from FF6 is that. Whereas the Magitech, the more sci-fi stuff, is in 7 and 8. Especially 8. But 7 has, like, computers. You know, like, straight-up computers and cell phones. Or at least the remakes do, but even in the original, that's kind of what they are. Right? Like, they have a power company, you know? It's much more closer to, like, modern technology compared to 7. Or, to 6, sorry. So I feel like they're going to save that for their own expansion. And they'll be able to do both at once. Because the references they've made to 8 are only in the Eden series, and it's really just a lot of, like, minor references. Like, they don't reference Seed, you know? They don't reference, like, the academies, right? Like, the Seed training, the schools, or whatever. Like, they don't reference Lunar Cry or anything like time compression. Like, FF8 had spaceships. You know, that was a whole part of the game. So you had to go into space. And, like, 7 kind of had that. Like, they were working up to a major space program. There was the spaceship that they had to try and stop the meteor. So I feel like those two together will go much better together than FF7 and FF5. I feel like the FF7 references will be relatively minor. I think, if anything, what they're going to reference more than 7 is FF3. Because they've already got the floating islands, which is a plot point in FF3. Right? Like, it's all on floating islands at the start. So I feel like that's primarily what they're going to do, is FF5 and FF3. And then maybe a smattering of 7. Yeah, in 4, you literally go to the moon. That's why in Endwalker, one of the first locations you go to is the moon. And you see the Labyrinths. That is a direct reference to FF4. Or, Endwalker was very much the FF4 expansion. Dawntrail was the FF9 expansion. But I think Endwalker was by far the most on the nose as far as references. Well, the patch content for sure. The patch content was very much just referencing 4. Dawntrail was pretty similar to FF9, but I don't think it was quite as much. Yeah, you get sent to space in 8 as well. You go to, like, a space station, and then Renoa gets possessed by, I think, Ultimecia, and basically gets into a spacesuit and just jumps out of the station to try and get the witch that's stuck on the moon to, like, trigger the Lunar Cry. In one of the dumbest parts of the game, because Squall just, like, jumps out after her with no plan. And they just happen to stumble upon the Ragnarok. Easily the dumbest thing anyone has done in any Final Fantasy game, and that includes FF13, and 13-2, and 10, and Lightning Returns. Squall jumping out of the space station to go after Renoa with no plan on what he's going to do when he gets to her The single stupidest decision possibly in the franchise. Yeah, that's why I mentioned the Ragnarok. Remember on Tuesday when I was talking about why I brought up the Ragnarok and why there could be FF8 references in Lunar Cry? That's because it's called the Ragnarok. Squall channeled Snow. I don't think Snow is even that dumb, to be perfectly honest. Like, Snow was stupid. Snow did some really dumb shit. But Squall literally would have died in the cold vacuum of space had he not randomly stumbled onto a giant dragon spaceship. Yeah, no, it's close. It's closer than I would like. It's definitely the single dumbest part of FF8. Although, it does immediately follow the dumbest part of FF8 up with one of my favorite parts, which is the conversation Squall and Renoa have on the Ragnarok. Easily one of my favorite parts of the game is that conversation because it's really well written and super mature. Like, way more than most fictional romances I've ever seen ever dare to go. So, you know, FF8 has a lot of that. Like, it's my favorite Final Fantasy game, not counting 14. But there's a lot of moments that are like, what the fuck are we doing? It is all over the place. Which is why I say, whenever I bring up FF8 and it's like, hey, I love FF8. If people hate it, I get it. I've never begrudged anyone for fucking despising FF8 because it is perfectly valid. Snow literally would have died in the intro if not for stumbling his way out of it. Yeah, I mean, Snow would have died multiple times had the plot not contrivanced its way into allowing him to live. But that's also 13 in a nutshell. Is the plot just pushes the protagonists to where they need to be. And they somehow end up saving the world because of lesbians or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the writing turns around as far as 0.56 and Evercold. Yes, the best part of 13 is Saz Katsuroy. I remember his full name because he is awesome and one of the best characters in Final Fantasy history. He is the only reason to play FF13. He is great. I love Saz. He might be one of my favorite characters in the franchise. I can't think of anyone I like more than Saz. He's so fun. Just this, like, older black dude is just trying to be a dad and is just caught up in fucking anime protagonist nonsense. It is endlessly entertaining. Yeah. We'll see. I haven't given up all hope on the quality of the writing. But, this certainly does not leave a good taste in my mouth. Yes, Hope does attempt to kill Snow and is stopped by plot. If he had not been hit by a missile, he would have fully stabbed Snow in the face. Which is one of his redeeming features. And why he is bearable. Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here, though. 10 minutes early, which is fine. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for in chat today. Doppel, Lightning, Morganites, Waffle, and everyone else who said hi. We appreciate you. And we appreciate everyone who was lurking. Yeah, well, I mean, we had time to kill, so yapping is fine. Let's see where we're dropping you off tonight, shall we? Tomorrow, we will be back to Mega Man Star Force. We will finally be able to continue Star Force 2. Put that off long enough. I'm always, I never have to, never complain about playing more Star Force, I'll tell you that much. So I'm excited to get back to that. There's the FF link. How often do you want me to plug it? You could just plug it whenever I mention Final Fantasy XIV, honestly. It's fine. It's really just a meme. Let's see. Ooh, Duck is streaming, but How long has he been streaming for? He's probably right about to end. I mean, meme means more players, it's effective, that's true. I think we'll just raid Anna. Play more Tetrio. I don't know how to pronounce that. Kind of guessing. Everybody go say hi to Anna. It's true, I got you and Waffle both playing 14, and I got Waffle so good that he has more hours in the game than I do. Like, I fucking got his ass. So... it does work. Helps that the game is super fun. But that's gonna be it for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Everybody go say hi to Anna. Fucking casual. And we will see you here tomorrow for some more Mega Man Star Force 2. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.